Happy New Comic Book Day, geeks, and welcome to issue 49 and a quarter of the Script Heroes podcast.
The show where we bring you comic news, book reviews, and industry blues. My name is Joseph Jasnowski, and I'm the writer of Janitor Hero, Cunning Carly, and the Cryptoverse.
And I'm Katie Markham, scripter of the Rusty Robot Country Club and ghostwriter extraordinaire, except all of that's bullshit, or at least backwards shit. This is our anniversary episode. So we are going to be doing everything in reverse, which is why you
Full
just heard
bizarro world.
Each other's intros. But Katie, do you want to tell the people what we have coming up segment-wise for this backwards episode?
Yes. So because we're doing everything backwards, we are starting with the Creator Corner. Normally our capstone at the end of the episode, where we talk about all things writing comics, all things comic industry, all that good stuff. Then, instead of talking about our pulls for the week or, a big back issue review or anything, we are going to be going through the books that we read for book club before we made the podcast. So we started off
Pull back
as
the
friends,
curtain.
just doing book club, and then we're like, hey, let's record it in podcast form.
Because we're going to ramble anyway.
Exactly. So we're going to go through the weeks of book club and talk briefly about the stuff that we read for that. And then we're going to end off with the news, where I'll be taking the helm and quizzing Jay on weird goings-on. Because I normally get made a fool of in the news, and I'm really hoping that he doesn't just come out swinging and absolutely knock it out of the park.
I am ready. I studied.
Not knowing what he was going to be tested on, he has studied.
But in any case, let's transition into the Creator Corner. And here we are in the Creator Corner, where we sit back, relax, ramble on for way too long, saying nonsensical things in this little intro bit before we get to what we're actually here for. In today's episode, Katie looks so mad at me.
He's a bastard!
So I actually did a last... pulling back curtain a little bit, I was slightly late to this episode, which is very, very rare for me, because I last minute decided to...
reverse.
Yeah, exactly. I decided to change the Creator Corner from my original idea when you were like, I'm looking for the news thing. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something else for the Creator Corner. And I've decided to bring back a game we played a long, long time ago.
Oh my god!
I think it was like episode 8 or something like that. So this game is called Subvert, Embrace, Eliminate. And it is a game all about comic book tropes.
We love the game of tropes.
Yeah, so that's like your typical fuck, marry, kill game, but instead it's Subvert, Embrace, Eliminate. I will be giving out a set of 3 tropes. Katie will take it first and kind of give her what thoughts and where she decides with each. I'll quickly give what I would do, and we'll move on to the next set. Slight disclaimer. The last one went on for an hour and a half, so I did start watching it to try to make sure I didn't double anything up, but then I went, this is an hour and a half long, so there's a good chance that a decent amount of these are doubled up.
That's fair. Okay, I'll do a little roast. I'll pull up, because I know that I did a list for myself to reference.
I wrote down the first 3 sets of 3, and then I was like, I'm giving up. And I tried to have less sets than Katie had, so hopefully this one won't go on.
I had 11 rounds in mine.
I have 7.
Okay, so, only an hour and 10 minutes.
Well, I was going to be something, and we were only taking like 3 to 4 minutes at the beginning of that video per thing, so I was like, oh, this will be fine. I thought there was more than that. Jeez, I did not realize there was only 11. But yeah, anyway, are you ready,
There are
Katie?
12, I just wrote 11 twice.
Okay. Are you ready, Katie?
I'm so ready.
Subvert, Embrace, Eliminate. And now the thing is, am I going to understand what I meant by each of these tropes, even though I wrote this 15 minutes ago?
Yes,
okay,
yes, you are.
So this first one has to do with essentially like powers or role of the hero. You had done a powers one that was like lab accidents and kind of that kind of stuff.
Genetic
So
powers and
yeah,
non-powered heroes.
yeah. So instead, we are going with the chosen one. So this is your,
Classic.
typical like hero of legend type thing where they're the person
Yeah.
who's prophesized to do whatever. Powerful item. This is your Green Lanterns,
Yeah.
your Omnitrixes for Ben 10, like that kind of thing. Coming to that powerful item that gives you your powers. And then we have kind of a collective of essentially what all of the ones on the last episode were. This is random chance. You just got struck by a lightning bolt. You got, you fell into a radiation pit, as happens in a comic book universe. So those are the three we've got here. The chosen one, powerful item, and random chance. And you got to tell us which you want to subvert, embrace, and eliminate out of those three.
So the first one I'm going to embrace is random chance. I love a good random chance. I feel like it's great for origins.
Okay.
I'm going to subvert the special item. And I think I'm going to subvert that by making it like a kind of curse thing, like a little Blue Beetle style thing. Whereas if you are stuck with this item, and you have to deal with it. And then I'm going to eliminate the chosen one. I think that it is a kind of tired trope. We had it a little too much when I was growing up in like the aughts of like, okay, we have our Harry Potter, we have our Percy Jackson, we get it. You're the chosen one. You're special by birth.
It
all
was
that good
big
stuff.
in that like YA/teenage novel era.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly. We're not even touching on the freaking dystopia.
You get there, you get to like Divergent and the level that they got bullshit with the chosen one shit there. Like,
absurd. So I'm eliminating that shit. We've had enough.
I think that's super fair. All right,
what are you doing?
Because
you're your boy. You gotta
and a Ben 10. I gotta embrace the powerful item. I love the powerful item because I think, especially like as a kid when you grew up with it, like I think that's the coolest thing in the world for a kid because it's not like it feels like weirdly. None of them are. It feels the most attainable as a kid of like, you just need to like get the item. It's not like, I need to fall into radiation. And like as a kid, you're smart enough to kind of go, that would actually just kill me. But like, my brain is still going, but a powerful item I could get, and obviously you're not going to be the chosen one as a kid. You're already too old. They're going to tell you when you're like,
I literally cried on my 11th birthday when I didn't get Hogwarts. I was like, this is actually the worst day of my life.
Exactly. So yeah, I've got to embrace the powerful item, and I'm going to actually subvert the chosen one.
Ooh.
Because I feel like there's some cool story. It's so weird that the one in my head right now is Spy Kids 3, and I can't think of a better example. But like I like when like they think the person's the chosen one, and so they become like a great hero, and then you find out they actually weren't the chosen one, and so they actually like became the hero on their own. I think that's a super rad story. Because then you have like the conflict with the real chosen one coming in who like didn't earn it the same way the character we're following did. I think that's a super rad way to do it.
That's fun. That's a fun subversion.
Yeah, I don't know why Spy Kids 3 is the only example in my head of that.
And I believe, is it not technically called Spy Kids 3D?
It is. And the chosen one he's called the guy. And they're like, he's the guy. And then you have the guy come in and die immediately. And so they all just turn back and go, you're the guy again. And I'm eliminating random chance because while I think it's very important to especially like the superhero genre of, I think this was a disclaimer you gave in the last one that I didn't really give you. These are kind of superhero dependent, not just comic book. Very important to the genre, but I think at this point it's fairly tired. Like every variation of it's been done.
That's very fair.
I'm kind of ready to put it to
I also think that comic fans have evolved in such a way that I don't know that they embrace random chance the way they used to. Like, I'm sure that if The Flash premiered today, like the comic, if we had a new hero who was a crime scene tech and forensics guy, and a bunch of chemicals fell on him and he was struck by lightning, they'd be like, convenient much.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. So we're gonna jump now to what I call the Batman round. Because I tried to distill Batman to the three tropes that I think built the like Bat God complex.
Ooh, okay.
And the tropes that I think can be quite fun on their own or whatever. So we have firstly we have the Ultimate Fighter. This is your guy who wins no matter what. This is your John Wicks. This is your Rick from The Walking Dead. Like it's those types of characters who just always fucking win. Like they can beat anyone in a fight. Then we have Prep Time. This is the try and true of I can figure out a way to beat somebody with that prep time. Like I just need enough time, and I can set a trap. I can do this. I can do whatever. And then finally we have Tech is King. This is that idea that you can build a suit powerful enough to fight like any god, no matter like you can if you just slap enough metallic armor on there, like you can make the Justice Buster suit somehow. Like you can make a suit that's strong enough, whether it's Iron Man or Batman or like basically any iteration of like non-powered hero. You can build that suit that can take on like a god. Tech can get that good. So yeah, those are the three tropes for you here. Ultimate Fighter, Prep Time, and Tech is King.
I am going to... it's so hard because I feel like they've all been memed to oblivion with Batman. So it's almost difficult to embrace any of them. What
I've got one that I quite enjoy when it's not
Batman. Embrace Ultimate Fighter. I think
that is the correct answer. That is the correct
with the caveat that I think that needs to be an in-universe thing. Like, and by that I mean like the on-world thing. Like once Batman is out of Gotham, he cannot have that anymore. Like he can't go up against Darkseid and win with punches, you know? Because Superman can't do that.
No, Ultimate Fighter, that's why I said like these are each of the elements. Like Ultimate Fighter is very much the human element of like he can beat any other like human in a hand-to-hand fight.
Exactly.
Prep Time and Tech is King are the things that start to advance that into the other thing. So yeah.
I think I'm going to embrace Tech is King. Or I'm sorry, subvert Tech is King.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna subvert it. I haven't figured out how yet. I think that you
want to kill Prep Time.
I want to kill Prep Time.
You want to kill Prep Time. I'm very fully agreeing with you on this. Like I think that just is the correct answer to these.
I think that the way to subvert the Tech is King trope is to make it like variations on the things he already has. So like I don't think your Batman should be pulling out the I kill the Riddler in Ader, you know? Or I beat the Riddler in Ader. It should be, my grappling hook has a like setting for suctioning to walls. It's like if you do things within the tech that is already established, I think that is how to subvert that trope. Where like, okay, we're not just going full nonsense. And because of how prevalent the nonsense is, being a little more grounded with it, a little more restrained with it, is subverting it. And we're eliminating Prep Time. I think, one, because it's absurd. And two, because I think that it takes away from what I think is one of the cooler things about Batman, which is his ability to just adapt and overcome. To go full Bear Grylls. Like, this man has every skill in the book. The thing with Batman is that he's not necessarily going back to the Batcave and learning how to do something. He knows how to do, like, everything. So, like, he can think on the fly. That's part of what makes him such an insane fighter. Yeah. So, like, let the man improvise.
Yeah. I do want to throw out that, like, this did not have to apply specifically to Batman. Like, you know, but because I think a lot of things is, like, they give a character one of these tropes, and then Batman is the creation of when all of these three tropes meet each other. But yeah, no, I fully agree with you. I really enjoy the Ultimate Fighter. I think especially when, like, a world is built around that being, like, the trope of the character. It's like, oh, yeah, like, the whole point of John Wick is that he is the Ultimate Fighter, and that he will beat everybody. So yeah, I enjoy that, but I'm just gonna fully agree with you across the board there. We can
no, because I need you to tell me what you think subverting Tech is King would be.
That's a tough one. I think it's like one of those things where you'll have them build up like a suit that like essentially will like surprise this super powerful being or whatever, and then like that powerful being just has to kick it up a slight notch, and then they still get like the powerful being is still above that. They just go in thinking they only need what they usually need to beat the human, and then a few punches are thrown. It looks like maybe they're evenly matched, and then the hero just goes, "Oh, yeah, man, you really kind of leveled up." Heat vision slices it in half, and the guy falls out. Like, just make it seem like it's gonna work.
Clearly, the true subversion is just making the tech lame as hell. Like, oh, tech is king, and by that I mean I built a bunker, so when the Earth is raised, I will be okay.
Oh yeah, or it's like you could have it be like essentially a trap where they realize that it's not actually going to work. So like they're not actually in the suit and it's remote piloted and it's just like a distraction. So that once they do destroy the suit, it's like I wasn't there because I knew. Invincible kind of does that to a slight extent. Where they're like, I know that I can't beat Omni-Man with the tech. We're just trying to slow him down as much as humanly possible. And I think that's a cool take on it, where it's like we know we cannot in any earthly power even match up a little bit to him, but if we can buy time by acting like we're trying to, that's worth it. So that's I make it with that. I think the Invincible subversion was a really good subversion.
Right, but what's next on our menu here?
Is actually a very medium like based one. This is really based on like things you can do with the medium. So we've got comic book time. This is like the shifting time scale of like years pass in the real world, and like comic book time barely moves, but then eventually it moves a ton. So like Iron Man's origin will change from war to war. Like the time that
Batman was born in the year 2000.
Yeah, exactly. So like the timeline shifts. Things, our characters don't move as much as we do, but the years still move while they're not. Comic book time. The way that time works in like Marvel and DC. Then we have depending on the artist. This is the idea that while characters are not like changing their physical appearances in universe, like their costume might change from issue to issue if it's a different artist, or they might be drawn, especially if, like if it's an alien or something, they might be drawn with a different number of tentacles or something, like things that literally cannot make conceivable sense in universe changing based on the artist, when we have to accept that they aren't actually physically changing. And then the final one is one that we've actually talked about I think fairly recently on the podcast, and this is talking while fighting. This is the idea that they can have like full-blown conversations, long amounts of text, while they are like throwing 3 punches that should only take in theory 15 seconds. So yeah, comic book time, depending on the artist, and talking while fighting.
So I think the one that I'm going to embrace is depending on the artist. I think that's one where not only is it like just fun to see new costumes and stuff, it's like, okay, we've got our same general character.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times they do give a little bit of a like, oh yeah, this is why I have a new costume. I think there's a
that's why I went to like physical things too, where like sometimes it's like literally a physical characteristic that could not have changed in such a way.
For sure. So I think I'm gonna embrace that one for the pure aesthetic reasons, because I like to see new takes on characters and artists. So I'm gonna, that's like my forgiveness. I think I'm gonna eliminate comic book time.
Okay, interesting. That's not where I thought you were going. The one thing I thought I was gonna be able to pick out was what you were gonna eliminate, and I was wrong. Yeah.
It helps that I already forgot the third option. It was talking while fighting. Yeah. It's okay, we're gonna subvert it, and I'll tell you how.
Yeah. Tell me how.
But yeah, we're gonna eliminate comic book time in the sense that they all take place in a nebulous near future, Like, you're rarely hanging out in the year that you're in. Like, the tech is going to be more advanced for some reason. This is an alternate universe. So I think that the
reason for the tech being more advanced is sensors, so they don't have to use real guns.
I mean, also because then you can have your I defeat the Riddler-inator. Just stuff that like physically cannot exist. So I think just hanging out in the nebulous near future is fine. Yeah. Like we don't
give me how you're gonna subvert the talking while fighting. Like I think that's gonna be really interesting. I want to hear how you subvert that trope.
I'm gonna subvert it by writing exclusively speedsters. They talk super fast. I also think it can work in like, if characters like Batman and Ra's al Ghul go up against each other, I'm like, I can believe that these two dramatic ass motherfuckers are absolutely going to pause with their blades in front of their eyes and say, Ra's, you know that I cannot let you do this. And he's gonna wait there and then respond, you cannot stop me, detective, and then they'll go again. So
but like that's a subdued example compared to the like full page of dialogues while they're both fighting back and forth.
By having them fight in like bouts
segments,
and then
and that's fair. That's
discuss. Because they respect the dramatic tension that they know.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, no, this is a tough one. I'm gonna eliminate talking while fighting. That's fair. That's fair. I think it gets real obnoxious when you just have novels of back and forth text as you're fighting. I'm gonna embrace depending on the artist. I think that's just something you gotta like. I think sometimes it goes too far. But I think in general that's something that you just gotta accept with comic books and with any sort of like drawn medium. It makes sense. It tracks. I don't know how I subvert comic book time, so I'm trying to think of this real quick.
Clearly, it's a meta where they realize they're outside of regular time passing.
I was gonna say, like, I think the way you subvert it is you have some sort of like being or like basically Doomsday Clock if Doomsday Clock was like good, but like it introduces the idea of like, oh, there is some sort of weird supernatural stuff going on that's like making the timeline shift. So basically you build it into the universe, like actually establish in universe that the timeline is sliding, in addition to like obviously we see it sliding. So like have the characters notice it, create some sort of reasoning for it, kind of what the beginning of Titans was building up to in early Rebirth, before they like retconned 3 times what was going on there, which Doomsday Clock was one of those retcons.
Isn't that kind of what Marvel does with like the Marvel universe starts with the inception of the Fantastic Four, and then Spider-Man comes however many years after that, no matter when that first year of the Fantastic Four is.
I mean, that's just sliding timeline. That's not like them anchoring it in their world. Like, they don't acknowledge the fact that it's changed in universe.
Didn't we read something that maybe we
did? Maybe we did. Maybe I'm forgetting. Maybe I'm just forgetting. That could fully be the case.
Like, I agree that the way that the Fantastic Four moves up is kind of not acknowledged, but I think that we read some book where it was like, yes, the Fantastic Four happened. It might have been in the introduction of the Ultimate Universe. Maybe?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if the sliding isn't acknowledged, it's not a subversion of the trope. That's just the trope. Like, that's literally them just moving this thing, and it's like, oh, we all know that this happens this many years. That just is the trope. That just is the trope, but with a concrete
DC's just like, this could all happen whenever in relation to each other.
It's just because they don't want to. The one time they tried in New 52, it was a nightmare. They just don't want to acknowledge how old Batman would actually have to be for any sort of timeline to work, so they just have to, like, ignore it.
There's like, we will move these characters around as we see fit, actually.
Yeah. But in any case, let's jump over to our middle set. We have reached number 4 of 7, so we'll see how this goes.
Making good time.
Yeah, making great time. We have billionaires losing their fortune. Your typical, you lose all your money story for, your Batmans, your Iron Mans, etc. We have the parent or parents was always evil. This is when Batman discovers Thomas Wayne was actually part of the problem. This is when Spider-Man discovers that his father was part of some sort of shady organization. This is, those sort of stories we find out.
I feel like that was a big one to miss.
No, because that's not really the trope. That's not really the trope. Like, that was like the idea of the trope is after a long time, like, you figure out, like, post that they were evil the whole time. Like, I'm
gotcha.
That doesn't really fit the trope. That is just an evil parent. This is like the parent that wasn't evil being made evil. At another time, or like being made crooked.
So we're talking out of universe.
We're talking like the retcon. This has to be like essentially
retcon.
The retconned parent, like parent that we have heard of as being a saint for a very long time, all of a sudden is now evil, or they wanted to build up some sort of controversy with them. And then finally, we have clones. Just the entire idea of clones in the superhero medium. Because I feel like that's one that there's a lot has happened with that.
A lot
and I think very little
clones.
of it has been, enjoyed by people.
I am going to start by subverting clones.
Okay,
I'm
how
going
do
to
you subvert
subvert
clones?
clones in a couple different ways because I think there's a lot of fun ways to do clones. The first way to subvert clones, I think, is just giving them a good relationship with the blueprint. Like, that already is
I
like,
don't know if
oh,
that's a
no
subversion.
clones. No clones get to do that. No clones are allowed to just live
Connor
peacefully.
does a little bit now. Connor kind of gets.
I mean,
gets
now, not for the first, like, years of his existence.
Very true. Very true.
And that one was mostly goofy. I'm gonna subvert clones with
Yeah.
a way that I quite like clones to be done, which is where you bring in a clone and they essentially get to exist alongside. There's because you have some clones that come in to replace. I don't love a replacement clone. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, our friend died. Good thing we have a clone of him. That's like the worst thing in the world. And plays into the like fallibility of comic book deaths.
Yeah.
I am gonna subvert clones by truly just making the clone best friends with their original person. We're talking full Dipper pines that one episode of Gravity Falls. Dipper clones himself, and they are the exact same person because it's an exact clone, and they just get along famously because they're like, yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. And so this clone is going to be one character essentially, and
as a
it's
clone
like
in theory should be. Instead of like a clone that
That's
usually
what I'm
has a
saying.
different personality,
We're
and
not
it makes
letting
no
this
sense.
clone get away with having new things happen to him.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
fair.
clones as twins, essentially.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that's my clone subversion.
Yeah,
I'm going
you
to
still have not said the other two things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna eliminate they've been evil the whole time. I think that's just lazy and dumb. Like,
yeah.
I think it's just it's being edgy for edgy's sake. It's like we all know that Thomas Wayne is fine. Like, he donated a bunch of money. The Thomas and Martha Wayne Foundation is incredibly helpful to Gotham. You don't need to go in and then be like, oh, and actually, he kicked
He
puppies.
was a part of all the corruption.
It's like, no, absolutely not. If they're not there to be a part of it, you're not allowed to do that. Like, if they're still alive, you might be able to get away with it, but it never happens to people who are still alive.
No, I think that's kind of a big part of it. Like, this is usually a dead parent, and it's like them discovering evidence that their parent was evil before they died, and like that makes it extra sad too, because they can't like confront the parent and like have a good thing with the evil parent. It's just like, no, it's just sad now. Like, you've tarnished that memory.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna embrace the billionaire losing their money. I think that's a good thing. I think it's fun, especially with someone like Batman. I think probably less so with someone like Iron Man. Because I haven't read much Iron Man, but my impression is that he's more dependent on his tech than Batman is. Yeah. So like, maybe it gets annoying, cool but then you get to go back to basics like, and be like, he's making his suits out of garbage.
Exactly. Like, that's the fun. That's the fun. It's like him making the suit from scraps, and it's like more like, instead of a full exosuit, it's just like, attached bits. I don't know. I think I would agree with you. Boil your
character down to their basics with that.
Yeah.
And really look at what makes them unique and cool.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I think the like I'm gonna agree with you across the board. I think where the issue ends up coming in with the billionaires losing their money is, one, when you start doing it multiple times to the same hero.
Yeah.
And two, when it just lasts too long. Like when it just goes on too long. Like, get that money back. Like, get back there in a reasonable time frame. But I'm gonna embrace it because I do think at its core it's a very fun story that you can tell.
Yes.
You hit on why parent was always evil. It's just the worst. And I'm gonna subvert clones, and I'm gonna do it. I think more in like the Invincible route with like the Marler twins, or like Ben 10 did with the Rito brothers. Like, if you have a like person whose whole gimmick is that like they're just constantly like dying with new clones coming about, like, I think that's incredibly funny, where it's just like always a new version of these characters, and because there's like there's two of them, like one of them dies and they make a new one, and then like this thing of like, oh, which one's the clone? Like, I think there's a lot of fun that you can do with clones if like you keep them to their own thing instead of cloning like characters, like instead of cloning Batman, like you're cloning characters that were built for cloning
exactly
stories.
to
And
be
I think
cloned.
that's
yeah.
a really fun
That's a good
subversion of
way.
that.
That's a good way to do clones.
Yeah.
Love it.
So do you want the next up on the
What if I said
agenda?
no? What if I said no?
Then I'd just jump ahead an extra one and go back
No, I
to
want
the
the
one
next
that
one.
was next up. Okay. So this one is another one that's a little bit more like pulled back on kind of an editorial level. Yeah. So we've got back to status quo. This is new creative team comes in. We're gonna pretend whatever just happened didn't happen, and we're gonna go right back to where the character typically is.
Yeah.
Number 2 is random legacy heroes, and the important thing here is random. So this is a legacy hero that like wasn't a sidekick, didn't know the main person. This is like your Kyle Rayners. This is your like Hal Jordan or Barry Allen compared to the original Flash or Green Lantern. This is your legacy hero that has no. This is before the kind of the retcon. This is kind of your Batman Beyonds, your characters that just kind of come in, did not know the person, assume the identity, that kind of a legacy hero. And then number 3 is everyone's related. This is when all of a sudden a long lost sibling pops up, or a character that's already been involved in the story is like revealed to actually be related to our main character. This is like I think Marvel does this weirdly a lot. Like I think Kang is technically related to Mr. Fantastic or something like that. Like I think he's like Mr. Fantastic's like descendant or something like that. Like there's plenty of examples of this. We just talked about it in Nightwing when he now has a long lost sibling.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got back to status quo, random legacy heroes, and everyone's related.
I'm gonna eliminate everyone's related. I think that closes your universe so much. Personally.
Yeah.
Like
Fully
it's like okay, I don't need that to be the case. I am very happy to have people have found family. They don't need to find their literal family. I am going to embrace. It's a little tricky. Okay, I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna subvert back to status quo.
Okay, how do you subvert that?
I'm gonna subvert it in 2 ways. One way is to make it be like a nefarious thing that it's gone back to the status quo. Like if your new villain is like messing with time or reality or something, there you go. And then you can kind of break out of that and continue. Or if the previous creative team sucked, like if it was bad, like I hesitate to say his name, but Rick Grayson, horrible, terrible. When Tom Taylor took over, they like kind of addressed it. They're like, yeah, this happened, but they're also like, no, it actually didn't. We're gonna just ignore that. Like, we're not gonna bring that up. There's not gonna be an issue with that. They had a little bit of a transition period. Between
well, I think that's the big difference is when there is or isn't and obviously you're subverting, so transition period you can fully allow in your thing.
Exactly.
But I think like the general trope would not allow for a transition period. Like it would be a hard reset back to status quo.
But I think that if it was a bad enough thing, you can hard reset. So those are the.
And then you're embracing random legacy heroes.
Yes, I'm embracing legacy heroes. I think that one, it can be fine, especially when you're looking at like ancient characters. Like, it's like, okay, we're gonna bring that idea and that kind of ability set out, and we're gonna make that a thing. And I think that it also really works when you're just taking a fresh take. So something like Jaime Reyes isn't even like Ted Core didn't have a Scarab, but he's like this disconnected legacy hero, and they have really fun stories together. And so I think that the random legacy hero, both when they do end up interacting with the original character and when they don't, are both good options.
Yeah, I think personally it tends to be better when they end up interacting with the original character. I think it's weird though, because random legacy heroes is like one of those things where I'm also going to embrace it because I think its highs are really high. I think its lows are just god awful.
They really are. They really
just times where you're like, this person has no right to be this character that we used to love. So I think it's just one of those
like, I think we get that a lot when we're looking
really
at, like,
sour
future
people.
Worlds.
Yeah, but I think a lot it happens sometimes like when they kill people off too. Like even like the current Punisher, I think, is kind of suffering from that to some extent, where it's like, like this is fun, but also like why he's not the Punisher? Like what are we doing here? So
Right. Oh, we're just
in
trying to
any
sell
case,
a book that is titled The Punisher?
yeah,
Okay. I
yeah,
don't know if they're doing a
exactly.
Punisher book for him.
I assume I think they did a miniseries. It might be over now. I
Okay,
remember it
okay.
happening at some point. Anyway, though, I'm still gonna embrace it because it
Yeah.
gives us some great
The
things.
goods are just real good.
Yeah, the goods are really, really, really high. I am actually going to delete Back to Status Quo because
That's
what
fair.
I'm gonna
I know
say
that
here
you're a big
is
anti-back to status quo.
yeah, and like you said, like if it's bad, but the issue of the if it's bad enough idea is that's always dependent on the like perspective
Right,
of the
yeah.
new creator coming in. And so if they just decide that the thing before them is bad enough and their bar is just it has to be bad enough, you can end up with a lot of hard to follow. I think transitioning can be fine, but I think in general, I like things to move forward and continue. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to subvert everyone's related, and I'm going to tell you how you do this.
They were
It was
already in a
all a
relationship.
lie. No, they're going to reveal that they're related only for the main character to find out that they were actually not related, and they were trying to manipulate them into like some sort of a bond or something there.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's like a little raptor coded.
Oh yeah. It's also one of those things that I think, depending on how you deliver it, could absolutely leave the reader feeling like editorial interviewed like 6 times here, and you just like went back and forth between the options. You were like, yeah, they clearly wanted to make this person related, and then we yelled at for it and undid it later, even if you intended it the entire time. Yeah. But in any case, that's where I land on that.
Right,
yeah,
our penultimate.
Our penultimate. That's correct.
Yeah.
You've been counting correctly. You've been counting correctly. So here we have fourth wall breaking. Just in general, your main character that breaks it doesn't have to be main character. Your character that breaks the fourth wall. We have ginormous families. These are your Batman families. Your not literal families. These are character families.
I feel like the Flash family is getting up there.
Yeah, but especially like your Batman, families, your Arrow families, when it's just like, how many smaller people dressed in red can Green Arrow have? And then finally, we have being depowered. So this is the classic story of you lose your powers,
which I'm gonna say is less fun than a billionaire losing their money.
I agree.
I am going to. All right, I'm gonna, with a caveat, I'm going to embrace the big family. I think that's that fair. The caveat being, you still want to have stories where that's not the focus. Like, if you're welcome to have your full ass Bat family, but in my opinion, your Batman line should just be Batman stories. Like, it could be like Batman and Robin or something. But it shouldn't be like, I'm gonna call in Nightwing. I'm gonna call it like, because you still want the main story to be like approachable to someone who isn't like super into your whole universe. I think the way that Superman and Action Comics did that when they got their I think it was their Dawn of DC launch, worked really well, where it was the Superman book is about Superman, Action Comics is about the whole family. And I think that,
weirdly, Superman has survived fairly well without getting too huge. Like, he's got a big ass fan, but like,
here's the thing.
Compared to like,
I'm not surprised,
a lot of the DC
because
families,
like his whole thing is that he's the last one.
Yeah. Well, like, so he's got a much smaller family than like Batman, Flash, Green Arrow. Like, the only, I think, big time DC hero that has a smaller family, Green Lantern's weird because it's not like a family thing, is Wonder Woman. Yeah, exactly. Wonder Woman's the only one who I think has a smaller family.
And hey guys, can we shrink her family even more? Get fucking Trinity out of here. I hate that child.
Anyway, so you're
I'm gonna embrace that
families.
with the caveat that you can't let your character get lost in that.
Yeah.
Or do you think that goes too far into subversion?
No, that's not subversion. I think that's fine. I think you can embrace it.
So our other two were loses powers and fourth wall.
Fourth wall breaking. Yes.
I am going to subvert loses powers. And I'm going to do it in the way that Flashpoint did, where they had Superman locked away from the sun. So it's not that your main character loses their powers. It's that there's like a depowered character
Yeah.
in their periphery. So
Okay.
like they have
I
Superman
like
in
your
their
answer
periphery.
here. I do feel the need to point out that Superman is not depowered in Flashpoint. Like, he is scrawny as fuck, but he has his full power set.
Not until he gets brought out into the sun. Like when they first encounter him.
I mean, but that's like what? Like a minute, whether depending on whether you're talking about a movie, like 3 pages or a minute of time, like when they're literally grabbing him from the cell and moving him outside.
I think
like, I like your answer of
in...
like a periphery character being the.
Exactly,
I just felt the need to be like,
I'm
I don't think Flashpoint Superman counts because I
think
is not really
a depowered character then gets their powers back. That's how you kind of like wrap that shit up.
Yeah, but he has like no actual story with being depowered. Like, the whole thing is they find him.
Poetic. He's a sad boy for a minute.
Yes, I just felt the need to say that man has his powers. That man was not deprived of any powers.
He was deprived of his red sun.
He was deprived of his no, he was deprived of yellow sun. Red sun is very bad for a Superman.
Very bad for a Superman. Very good for a Soviet Union. But yeah, so I'm gonna subvert it by having it be not your main character and have it be more of a like goal for your main character to help that other character overcome.
And
I'm gonna fucking eliminate fourth wall breaks. I
really wanted to hear you like try to figure out a way to subvert that.
You gave me the list and I was immediately like, no, I'm getting the fuck rid of that. I hate it. I think that it was probably a fun and novel thing the first time it happened. Like, I think that it is I'm sure a tonally correct Deadpool book, fun for him to grab a speech bubble and stab someone with it. But I feel like, especially in the comics medium, fourth wall breaks just don't really fucking work. Ooh, I do have a way to subvert it though.
Ooh, hit me with it. I want to know.
No.
I'm gonna kill it as well.
First. Oh, you're gonna kill it as well?
Yeah, that's why I wanted. That's why I said I was hoping I'm gonna kill it as well.
If specifically their superpower was some sort of reality breaking thing, and they could like it's less so that they're like turning and looking at the reader.
Yeah.
But this is a weird example. Have you ever read the Elephant and Piggy books by Mo Willems?
No.
They're kids' picture books. There's one of them that's called We Are in a Book. And they're like interacting with the book and like lift up a corner. They're like, "Oh no, there's only 3 pages left. We're gonna die." It's really wonderful. So I think that if they're like jumping between panels or something, and that's like in universe, they're like zapping out of reality and like coming into our world and then dropping back into their own. I think that's
basically what you wanted Local Man to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I've grown very attached to that idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just do it, Katie. Do it.
I'll do it right now.
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna kill fourth wall breaking. My issue is I want there to be internal logic to every comic and universe, and I think the internal logic to fourth wall breaking is just really headache inducing to try to figure out. Like, is the character just crazy and they happen to be right in our universe, but in their world they're just a crazy person who thinks they're in a book? Or do they somehow know, because there's no actual way for them to know they're in a book, because they can't actually know anything, because they are a character. Like, it doesn't work, because in universe they are in a comic book. So there's just a really weird mind, like, I have headache induced myself trying to figure out a way to actually make this work. So we're deleting fourth wall breaking. I think, like you said, I think it's a novel thing at some point, and it can be fun, and then it kind of starts to really weigh on you. I'm gonna embrace being depowered. Like, I think, it's a classic. It's overdone to death, but it's a classic for a reason. And I'm gonna subvert huge families
than the billionaire thing, because the billionaire thing is like, that's not technically their power,
No,
so like taking it away just makes them be creative. Whereas with depowered, it's like, okay, if you depower the Flash, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm gonna subvert huge families, and I'm gonna give you the way you subvert huge families. One of my favorite tropes: Civil War. We're gonna go to war. We're gonna our huge family's gonna go to.
That's so fair. We love a family at odds.
Yeah, we're gonna
a little
have
battle
a big
for the
battle.
cowl action.
We're gonna have sex form. We're gonna have different groups, and then hopefully those groups will maybe actually stay separate. Like, even the thing, like, it doesn't have to be just like let them separate. Like if you want to look at
Yeah.
this from a Batman perspective, it would be let Damian be Dick's sidekick now. Like let him lead
Ugh,
the Bat
let
family,
Damian be
start a
Dick's
Nightwing
sidekick.
like Nightwing, Babs, and Damian be their own thing,
Yeah.
and like let them get on their own thing. Let Batwoman really operate separately from Batman, and there doesn't ever have to be like any real crossover there. Let these different sects really form in a way that, while it's still a family, they are not still one thing, and you
Yeah.
don't have to like deal with them being that huge thing. So that's my subversion.
That's a good
idea.
subversion.
Whether they're at odds or not, separate them into groups.
All right, our final trio.
Yes. There's one in here that is very, very topical to this past week's. I just grabbed it literally from a book that we read 2 days ago for yesterday's episode. Or I guess now when you guys are watching this 2 days ago episode.
Yes.
I'm gonna read that 1 second, so I don't know why I was hyping it up here. But the first one is hates everyone, still a hero. This is the person who, it really makes no fucking sense for them to be a hero, because they really don't seem to like anything or like anyone, but they're still saving lives, and it doesn't make a lot of internal logic, but that's that. The second one is, it's heavily inspired by the Batgirl book we read this week. This is the size doesn't matter trope. This is your non-powered, typically small female character who can still win fights against, gigantic men. It's that size doesn't matter. It's a comic book. If you're a good enough fighter, you can beat somebody even if they've got 400 pounds on you.
Yeah.
And then our third trope, not to be confused with a superpowered pet, is a too smart pet. This is a pet that can seemingly, despite having no powers, just fully understand English. And this pet can do exactly what is asked of them. They will, really help out the character. They will do exactly what they're asked of. They can essentially fully understand human speech. So there's our three tropes. Hates everyone, still a hero, size doesn't matter, and too smart pet.
I'm going to embrace size doesn't matter. I think at a certain point, like, you want your goons to look a certain way, and you want your heroes to look a certain way. Like, I don't give a shit about, like, actual real world things. Let her kick his ass,
Very fair, yeah.
And, like, I'm not saying, and with a notable exception being, like, things like Harley, where it's like, oh, Harley has no fucking training.
Yeah.
Like, she's a gymnastic.
We're just talking size doesn't matter. We're talking...
Exactly.
The idea that, like, training can completely supersede size, even when the other person is also trained. Like, it's just we're going full training madness here. So
I'm going to subvert the too smart pet.
Oh, okay. Tell me how that works. Works.
I think that if your character can talk to animals, then it's fine if that animal can, like, operate within the world.
I don't even know if that's a subversion. That's
like they can still be too smart.
Okay.
Because your druid character can be like, okay, Fido, go get me my cell phone. And Fido is still able to go and, like, open the door and pull the cell phone down and bring it back. So, like, it's still able to navigate the world in a way that is, like, smarter than a dog should be able to.
That's fair. That's much more acceptable. I think once you have, like, the power thing cover the communication, then you can accept the animal shit.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So my eliminate is
hates everyone, still a hero.
Like, I think that there is a notable exception if it's, like, clearly a facade of hates everyone.
Yeah.
And, like, that especially works in, like, a group dynamic. But if it's someone who genuinely is, like, a bad person and hates everyone, like, they can still save lives, but they shouldn't be doing active heroics, Yeah. Like, they can still be like, oh, someone's about to fall out of that building, I guess I'll catch them. But they shouldn't be like, I'm across town and there's a bomb threat in City Hall, I better get to City Hall. It's like, come on. What are you fucking doing with your character? Why are you making him like this?
Very fair.
All right, what's your final take here? The last three.
This is a toughie. It
is.
I feel like this is weirdly one where I want to, like, subvert everything. It's like I don't want to fully embrace or fully kill any of these, because I feel like they all have merit, and it feels like fully killing them is, like, a step too far. But like fully embracing them was like, I think some bad stuff happens when you fully embrace any of these. I'm going to oh man, this is really tough. The embrace is really tough to me here. The embrace is really tough. I don't want to embrace any of these three fully. I'm gonna embrace.
Like, I feel like something with the embrace, I'm sorry, something with the size matters thing is that I was very much thinking of it in terms of like Batgirl, but it also applies in terms of like Nightwing versus Bane. Like, Dick is a lithe individual. Like, he's still strong, but like, you know, being able to buy into the like creative ways that they use their stuff, I think is I'm
going to embrace. I'm gonna embrace the too smart pet because I think the medium is forgiving to that. Like you can accept that, you know. I don't love it, but I feel like I can stomach the fact that the pet is gonna understand what their owner is telling them to do. I can stomach that. I'm also going to delete hates everyone still a hero. I think that gets
a tough one.
Painfully annoying. I'm gonna subvert size doesn't matter because I think I get frustrated when it's like we're gonna have the absolute like peak fully mastered people and like they are both fully mastered and yet an old man can still go toe to toe with this like prime suspect and they're both supposed to be amazing. Like if it's like you want the old man and the hero just comes to them for training and they're untrained and the old man kicks their ass, I'm like, that's fine. But like you want to come back like 10 years later and he's like a fully realized Batman and it's still like an old man with a cane is gonna like fight him. I'm like, nah, you gone too far. So we're gonna subvert
how are you subverting
I'm trying to think of how we're subverting here. We're gonna subvert it, I think, specifically by adding like a like weirdly an anime-esque like martial art power thing to where it's like there's like a power behind the martial arts, so like you can accept the size not mattering more because the mastery when there's like a power behind it is much more, I think, acceptable. So we're gonna add power to the martial arts here, so that it's much more acceptable when your tiny little heroes beat your ginormous also heroes.
Love it.
But yeah, that's it. That's
thrilling game.
End of the game. Subvert, embrace, eliminate.
Such a great game. So much fun. I love talking about stupid and not stupid comic book tropes.
I just remember when I was going through all the Creator Corner ideas, because I was basically double checking that the idea I had originally wanted to do hadn't already been done, which it hadn't been. But then I like saw the game on the list and I was like, that was so much fun.
And we only went 50 minutes this time.
Yeah. But
hell yeah.
What's next?
Clapped so much. I don't know what we are going to head to
it's not like the poll list rec, so I don't know how to
our pulled list rec. These are things that we pulled a while ago, and we'll see if we rec. But it's going to be rec spelled WREECK.
Yeah, I think that was pickupable.
Wonderful. Good. Let's go. All right, here we are in the pulled list rec. Where we are going to go through the book club that was the foundation of our podcast. Jay, do you want to give a quick history lesson to our viewers here?
Sure. Well, I was born approximately 22 years ago on April 19th, 2002. I don't remember much before I was like 5 or 6.
And then, he thinks I'm going to stop the bit. I'm not going to stop the bit. I love learning about my friends.
That's so rude that you would not stop me there. No, anyway, me and Katie decided to, upon like so many talks about comic books and it often landing on us reading none of the same books coming out at a given time, we decided that maybe coordinating some books to read every given week would be a good way to do it. So we started pulling some of the same books, and in addition, we started what would continue into the early phase of the podcast, the back issue review. And we would alternate weeks, choosing a larger like TPB essentially for us to also read along with our given polls. So We did what, like 15 weeks of this before the podcast?
13 weeks actually.
13 before the podcast. Okay.
We have
and
we have record.
yeah, then we decided at some point that we should just I believe I said to Katie, I was like, we should just make this into a podcast, and she just like immediately stops and goes, I was just gonna say that to you. So yeah, and funnily enough, Katie was very anti-video when we first started the podcast, and so we recorded the first episode without any video, and after that there was a very quick decision made that we needed to do video as well. That's how we got to episode 1. And the rest, as they say, is only a year of history, so not really that much history. We've been here for a year now. Thank you.
Which is crazy.
If you've watched any of our videos.
Yes, I mean we've had such fun making it, and I think there's a reason that we were able to commit to 13 weeks of book club before we turned it into the podcast. It's because we just have a lot of fun talking about comics together.
Oh yeah.
But the
like
very
we're doing this
first...
with or without recording it.
Exactly, like we literally were. Most of the time while playing video games, which was very exciting because we'd be like, yeah, I feel like the panel composition on this page was, oh fuck, someone's coming, and then just
typically Apex Legends, and we would intentionally not land near people so that we could, for most of our discussion, be just like looting items, and then all of a sudden people would start shooting at us, and we'd have to pause our conversation to fight.
Yeah. And then sometimes we wouldn't pause the conversation while we fought, and I think we played better then.
We did typically play
I think that we actively are better at video games when we're distracted by our own talking.
And nowadays those conversations have been replaced with conversations about making comics while we play video games.
Exactly. In any case, which is gorgeous. So our first week of book club was Tales
You want to tell people what we're doing here before you
so I'm going to read... I insisted on us writing down everything we were going to read because I am a forgetful bitch, and I kept it all in a handy pinned message in our Discord. So we have all the books that we read for all 13 weeks. I'm going to read through the list. Jay is going to pick something out to actually reflect on that we remember and want to talk about. And we'll give like a quick little sum up of what we remember about the book. And then we'll switch off week to week.
Yep.
So week
you're
one,
gonna start with week 1,
yes, was Tales of the Titans. It was Tales of the Titans numbers 1 and 2, and then Tales of the New Teen Titans numbers 2 and 4. So that was when they were getting ready to launch the new Titans title at DC, and they did the Tales of the Titans one shots the same way they did the Tales of the New Teen Titans one shots. We did Swamp Thing number 20 to 27.
That's the Alan Moore run. The first volume of the
right. The first volume. I forgot that he doesn't start with number 1. And then The Hunger of the Dusk number 1. The Hunger of the Dusk has been with us the whole time. Wonderful. So Jay, what do you want to talk about from this list?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little sacrilege on this podcast not to mention The Hunger and the Dusk, but I wanna cover new ground. I feel like is an important thing about this. Like, let's cover the before. So let's talk about Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. 20 to 27.
Oh my god, Swamp Thing is so amazing.
I think we both know that it was going to be really, really good going in.
Oh, yeah.
But, and weirdly, issue 20 is a real weird one, because Alan Moore did not decide to kill the status quo. And so 20 is a full transition issue that's super weird to jump on without having read the before. But once you get to 21 and you get to the actual story,
it's phenomenal.
So ridiculously good. And one of the things that just...
Alan Moore's writing is phenomenal. The art on Swamp Thing is so legendary.
There's some
specifically the way that they use colors, and like Jay just said, the way they do layouts is so amazing. It looks like the most. It is the most visually eye-catching thing to read. It's so amazing. All of the greens contrast with pinks and reds. It's gorgeous.
It was just a super cool, and like even knowing the reveal that happens in that story, I wish I could read it without knowing, because I feel like that would be just one of those comic book experiences you really remember. But even without knowing that, it was just phenomenal to read the build to that. But anyway, week 2. We go into JLA Tower of Babel.
Classic. Good old Mark Waid.
This is when we start up. I think we actually, in addition to the back issue review, which I totally forgot about. So in addition to the back issue review, we just started reading JLA through it. So every single week was a new
full fucking
chunk of JLA.
thing.
Yeah, we used to read a ton for this. Honestly, we've dialed back a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
JLA
it's 'cause we
Tower
read
of
more
Babel.
single issues.
We do, and also we do the bonus episodes, which we read
Right.
for. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we definitely never used to read anything like what we read when we have to do a tier list. Like that is a whole other level of,
Yep.
of reading now. But yeah, so we've got Tower of Babel, Titans 1 and 2. So I think Tales of Titans launched alongside Titans. It wasn't in the
That makes
previous Titans.
sense. Yeah.
So Titans 1 and 2, and World's Finest Teen Titans 1 and 2. They had 3 Titans books going.
It was
Does
wild.
that feel like a long time ago now to have 3 Titans books going at the same time? And I miss it.
It was
like
bonkers.
hell.
Yeah, right? I'm tempted to choose Tower of Babel because it is so iconic, but I'm actually gonna choose World's Finest Teen Titans because my god, was that series amazing!
Like, I think we only covered 4 on the podcast. I think literally the final issue is what was covered on the podcast. So
the way they did the dynamics between everybody on that team was so amazing. I think it was Samney's art, right? I don't remember their first name. But I really
Chris
Chris
Samney,
Samney.
Yeah.
I loved the art on that book so much. It was such
the
a
final
good
issue had a different artist for a chunk of it, right?
I believe
I know
so,
that's not here. That was like the weird thing where our hypothetical that we think something was greatly changed in that final issue last minute.
Right, yeah.
Came from.
But anyway. Yeah, the way that they did specifically in issue 1, the groundwork with Roy's relationship to Ollie was so amazing. Do you remember that scene?
Yes, I do. I really hope World's Finest Green Lantern Green Arrow follows up on that because it's honestly my favorite thing in the World's Finest world. And I think that's absolutely one shot that we're going to talk about on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the hope that it continues that
story. Do you want to remind people what the scene in issue 1 was?
So it's Roy with like he's like punching a punching bag, but it's like the top half training.
Yeah,
that's not important to the.
It's in shadow, so it looks like a person.
It looks like a person. Yeah, and he's like talking to Oliver until the final reveal when we pull back and Oliver's not there, and it is a fucking gut punch, and that really is the ending. I believe that is the ending of the first issue.
At the very least, nearly the point blank.
I think that's just the final page of the last issue. Of the first issue, rather, if I'm not mistaken. And
so good,
brutal,
absolutely.
And just I think a lot of times trying to reinvent characters can go a very difficult way. I think this reinvention of young Roy was just a perfect way to tie into who Roy becomes.
Truly, truly phenomenal. But on week 3, we had The Hunger in the Dusk #2. We read the Nort's Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. We read Cosmic Odyssey, and then JLA 47 through 49, which I believe is the Queen of Fables storyline.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, let's we gotta talk about Cosmic Odyssey because it's really one of those things that I really wish we had gotten to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think in pre-podcast it was probably our most in-depth. Like, I think we legitimately went for close to 2 hours just on Cosmic Odyssey.
Probably.
Like, we were talking. We probably talked about the John Stewart attempted suicide.
The way that the framing operates on that page is nearly bonkers. It's one of my favorite comics
ever, and getting to make Katie read it was awesome. It's one of those things where a lot of Green Lantern, and particularly John Stewart fans, don't enjoy the story very much. I think it's phenomenal. I think it was really one of the key things to turning John Stewart into more than just we have a black character here who can be in a Green Lantern uniform sometimes. It was really a story that gave his character so much depth that he really hadn't seen since his first appearance. Like, you have his first appearance where he has depth, and then you have a bunch of one-off appearances and a short run where there's some interesting stuff there, but it's mostly just he's there. And then you get Cosmic Odyssey, and it's here is a story to give him something to chew on. And I thought it was awesome. It plays up his self-assurance that he had early on, a lot of that stuff. And it's also Mike Mignola's gorgeous art. And Jim Starlin,
which is what I wanted to jump in with. The way that he draws Darkseid is my favorite thing. Every time
he's a wide lad.
He's a wide lad. Every time I see those covers come through the store, I have to laugh at Darkseid just sticking his little arms out.
That one cover with him is just so funny.
It's so funny. It's amazing on the inside, absolutely. And it's gorgeous on the outside. But oh my god, the way that he just sticks his little arms out from his absolute tubby body, it's stupendous. Yeah,
It just does so
absolutely
much.
love Cosmic
And Starfire is
Odyssey.
just there as her own character too.
Right? Which we love to
Something that
see.
would not happen anymore.
Right?
But yeah, there's so much great stuff in Cosmic Odyssey. I'm going to try not to just ramble on about that. So let's jump on to week 4. We have the Human Target Volume 1 and 2. In Hell We Fight 1 through 3, Side Quest number 1, Birds of Prey number 1, and Plot Holes number 1. So where do you want to jump on this week?
Okay, so what I'm gonna say is I've looked ahead, and I do see that we obviously we talk about it in Hell We Fight later. So I am gonna use this as an opportunity.
We're talking about plot holes later too. Just
ooh, should I just be super negative?
Don't be super negative. Oh God.
Come on, it'd be fun. I feel like we're gonna pick a lot of really positive books.
Yeah, I don't. We have options. I mean, no, we should go full negative for week 5 for sure. We gotta talk about the full negative on week 5.
Oh, okay.
We gotta talk about the full
negative. Okay, we're both looking ahead like idiots. I mean,
you can go full negative this week. We've got plenty of weeks. Do whatever the hell you want to do.
I think it'll be fun to go full negative. I fucking hated Side Quest. I'm picking Side Quest number 1.
Really hated Side Quest.
I detested it.
I remember I came away with I liked the setup, but I think there could be cool stuff to come. And Katie came away with that was the worst thing fucking ever. So I don't think we even picked up issue 2 because Katie hated it so much.
You picked up issues 2 and 3 because I kept asking you about it.
You're
and
right.
Issue 2, you were like, I don't know, it wasn't any better. And then issue 3, you're like, no, I didn't even pick it up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I thought that the characters were written super poorly. I thought that the way that the twist was done, that it's actually kind of an MMO type situation, was really lazy and underwhelming. I thought that the way that they had the characters interact was piss poor. I was like, I don't like any of these guys, and I don't like the way
Katie is going off on these poor indie creators.
Here's the thing. It's fine. It was a scout book.
The scout didn't make the book.
You don't know that.
I do know that. But I mean, I think it was actually very well received. If I remember, I think I sent you like a huge critically acclaimed thing, and I was like, "This is Side Quest. Look at this review for Side Quest."
Yeah, I think I might have literally written a 1-star review for it on League of Comic Geeks because of how strongly I felt about it.
Hated that book.
I really didn't like it, though. The backup in it, which was focused on the frog character or whatever they were, or the turtle character, there was a 1-page backup at the very end, and that was adorable in terms of art.
I do remember
the art was fine.
A lot of the writing being very rough in Side Quest.
I liked the art. The art was fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was Side Quest. In week 5, we talked about DC Comics Generations. We talked about World's Finest Teen Titans number 3. We talked about Daredevil number 1. And that was, who's the writer on that?
Daredevil 1?
Yeah, whatever came after the Zdarsky run.
Yeah, it's the current
Whoever
Daredevil.
It is,
it's still going, I believe.
So, just to give context, that is the Daredevil number 1 we're talking about.
Yeah, it was the actual new Daredevil number 1 at the time.
We did a full catch-up on Noctera, because I think then volume 3
we had both read volume 1.
Yeah,
I think volume 3 had the first issue had come out, or the one shot had come out that was leading into the final.
Whatever special was that week.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we read JLA Divided We Fall.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about DC Comics Generations, because I can shit on this book without shitting on creators, because there were 50 goddamn creators on this book, each given a page, it was, or 3 pages.
It was so poorly put together.
It was such a cool thing. It was one of those things where I was I had the hardcover for a long time because it was on sale at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, Green Lantern Sinestro, Golden Age Batman, yeah, that seems fun, give me that shit. And we read it, and it was a disaster, but built around fucking what is his name, Condi the Last Man or whatever.
Commandi, I think.
Commandi the Last Man, and there was just a lot of random bullshit, and it didn't really actually play with anything interesting with Golden Age, Batman or Green Lantern Sinestro. I think weirdly also had Starfire in there though, randomly, because I think I remember remarking on that after Cosmic Odyssey. It was oh my god, Starfire just in the
everywhere.
sci-fi team again. So
I think it also had Etrigan.
I think so.
Which Swamp Thing also had Etrigan.
Yeah. No, Etrigan showed up quite a bit in this era
start
too.
Of our Etrigan is everywhere arc.
Yeah. But yeah, in any case, it was a mess, and that I can fully lump on the publisher and editorial, because you do not need to put like 50-something people on a book. There is no reason to ever put 50-something people on a book unless it is an anthology book. Like, that is
and a thick one.
A wild decision that did not pan out.
Yeah. Wild. I
go into the next one. I'm sorry, that's my bad.
You're good.
So we have Black Canary Volume 1. This is, Kate, do you want to give us the creative team on that? It's the one that you...
I think, Brendan Fletcher and Annie Wu. Annie Wu is the artist. Right. She's so cool.
JLA 55 through 60. In Hell We Fight number 4. Nocterra number 16. Oh, so that it was right up till issue 16. Was the catch up. And Titans number 3.
Okay, I'm gonna be a goon and look ahead again. I believe there was a number 5 of In Hell We Fight. I want to make sure that I'm not sticking you with having to pick it. Though we did do a full Strange Saturday.
Yeah, we did a full video. Like that. My thing wasn't like I think things we talked about on the pod are of less priority to
and we talked about Titans on the pod, because I was gonna say I feel like issue 3 is where we started to lose faith in Titans.
I think it's when you started to lose. I lost faith very early. You were very confident that it was building to something, like that the weather was all being controlled by somebody, and that was going to be like the big reveal. That reveal did not come.
But yeah, we
talked
I think
issue
all
2
about
actually grabbed us a little bit. Was it issue 2 or issue 3 that had the Wally opening? Because I think that grabbed us for a little bit. Yeah, because the rest of the book wasn't great, but we were like, oh my god, that Wally thing, that was cool,
right? But we talked all about Titans. I want to talk about Nocterra because Jesus fucking Christ, we love Nocterra.
I think Nocterra went into the podcast a little bit. Maybe it didn't.
I don't think so.
Oh, it did. No, it absolutely did. We talked about Nocterra for the first episode.
Well, we talked about Volume 1 of Nocterra.
We did.
This is the last arc of Nocterra, and I think that we chose not to talk about it on the pod because it had so much context before it.
That's fair. But yeah, talk about Nocterra, specifically issue 16.
Well, I'm not going to go specifically about issue 16 because
no, you can talk specifically about issue 16.
Yeah.
No, why don't you tell people how we started reading Nocterra if you remember the Nocterra start?
You recommended it, I believe, to me.
I sent
you
sent
me. You sent me Volume 1.
Because I picked up Volume 1. It was like a half off sale, so I just bought 2 copies. I had bought 1 copy, and then I just went back and bought another copy of the first trade.
He's like, Katie would like this. Yeah.
And you were not reading it on your own, so I just picked up one and shipped it to you.
Yeah, because I think you had Ben recommending it to me or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, Nocterra is a book that Jay and I have a very distinct pattern of loving books that have well-written siblings, because we are both very close with our siblings and love our siblings dearly. So it's like, oh, this book revolves around a pair of siblings who love each other and are surviving the end of the world together. Yeah, we're gonna fucking like this. Tony Daniel's art is so incredibly stupendous. As we get into the later volumes, I truly think that Nocterra Volume 1 is like the perfect volume of a comic book.
It's so
we
good.
felt a little, at least I felt a little worse about it as we went forward. I think Volume 2 was a little bit of a lull, and then Volume 3 was really great, but still not as good as Volume 1. Never can catch that high.
Let's hope it comes back though, man. Like we've been now on hiatus for about a year.
Exactly, yeah. But Nocterra is so fucking good. The 3rd volume plays with darkness so well. There was so much cool art with those like beings.
Yeah.
Being like beacons of light.
It's really like, I think, the most unique like post-apocalypse book to come out in a long time. Like it was really a new apocalypse angle. I remember saying like this read Volume 1 right when the trade for Volume 1 came out. And I remember saying to Katie, did not turn out to be true. This would be one of those things that I'd be claiming to say if it did come to be true, and nobody would believe me, but it didn't. I was saying, like, I think this is the next Walking Dead saga.
Yep.
I was like, because I think it fills the void Walking Dead left so perfectly. The cast is going to start expanding, especially when we had the first issue of Volume 2 and they really started expanding the cast. I'm like, they're expanding the cast, they can start killing characters off. Like, I was like, this is the spiritual successor to The Walking Dead.
And I think if they did it as an ongoing, it literally would have been.
Yeah, but it didn't pan out. But that's really what I remember reading and just being like, I have not felt this way since reading The Walking Dead. Like, I've not felt the way that I feel about this volume.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's such a good book. I wish it was still going. I really hope it'll come back at some point.
Right?
It's so good.
But I have a feeling I know it's going to be picked out of week 7.
You can't possibly know.
So we read Tales of the Teen Titans number 3. Why just number 3?
Because we had already read 1 and 2.
Weird. Why you... I like that we just did number 3.
Why wouldn't we? It was the Donna one, Katie. There was no correspondence.
Right, there was no Donna one for the new series.
Yeah, because Cyborg didn't get one in the new series because he had his own book at that time.
And then Green Arrow number 1 through 4. This was getting our start in the Joshua Williamson run, I believe.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Tales of the Teen Titans number.
And then of course, Green Hornet volumes 1 and 2 from Mark Waid.
Yeah, that was the Tales issue. Remember where they just like go into a sovereign nation and like depose they were like, how does that work? You can't just do are you gonna do that all the time now?
Do that,
Donna. Green Hornet by Mark Waid. I was really, really excited to get Katie to read this, especially the Deegan story in there. I think we talked about how ridiculously good that is. It's just really like, this is how I try to get people in the Green Hornet. If I believe that they're going to read a bunch of Green Hornet, I'll say read year 1 first and then this, because year 1 came first. But we jump straight in here. It's so good. It really plays with like the intricacies and the issues that being Green Hornet brings up. I think if you're not going to do a nuanced take on Green Hornet, I don't think you should be you should be writing Green Hornet, because it's just not a concept that works if you're not going to really look at the concept itself.
Exactly.
And this really does. There's that beautiful scene when he is told by Deegan that his wife died, like right after getting, before he got the phone call that he was going to get the money. And then you see Green Hornet go into the bathroom and just remove his mask, and you just see him crying in the mirror. And it's just like, oh my god, Christ. It's good. It's the best Green Hornet book ever done, in my opinion. It's phenomenal.
What I loved about this was that I had never engaged with any Green Hornet before. I'd never seen any movies or TV or read any comics. Yeah. The feeling I felt, Black Beauty is the name of the car, right?
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yes? Okay. I was like, wait, is that the name of the truck in Local Man? I think it might also be.
But yeah, I
had never seen the like 180 flip of Black Beauty before. And when you taught, like, it's so rare for there to be like iconic things.
Almost word for word.
Yeah. So, it's so rare for there to be things that you like have not experienced, and like it's one of those things where it happens and it's iconic immediately. It's like, oh my god, how did I not know that this was a thing? Because Jesus Christ, this is so rad. Kato is an absolute legend. I love that boy. I remember so specifically, I had one gripe with the entire book, and it was that
you didn't know who they were.
Exactly. So many of them are like dressed and look the same that I was like, there were like some emotional moments or some like intense moments where I either thought there was tension that wasn't there or didn't realize there was tension that was there because I couldn't keep the track of the characters.
Yeah. There's just so many like mob related or newspaper related or like old money related characters that are all like jammed in there.
But it's such a good sign, but that is like my one gripe.
It's so ridiculously good.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to there's another. I'm interested to hear where you go here, because this is your next chance to go with one of your favorite series. But there's also a back issue review here that is just phenomenal. So week 8 we did Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun #1, which is also an Etrigan appearance. I believe that's the Etrigan Green Lantern crossover story.
Yeah, Riley Rossman
The Devil
did
That Went Into My Face #1, Plot Holes #2, and we did volume 1 of Sandman.
That sand.
Yeah, was another one of those ones where I was like, that is all I've ever read of Sandman, but I'd read it before this point. I've now read it twice, but it's still the only thing I've read of Sandman. But at that point I was like, I read this, and I think the goal was to read more Sandman.
And then we started doing the podcast. And we're like, Massiveverse instead. I mean, we gotta talk about Sandman, man.
We gotta talk about Sandman,
I feel like it's in the same vein as Swamp Thing, where the visuals of Sandman are so incredibly iconic and gorgeous and thought out. Insane, man.
Like, I know there's like 2 issues that weren't done by Sam, but the Sam Keith issues are the high point visually.
Truly
his layouts are like, I know I said the layouts of the Swamp Thing too, but like Sam Keith's layout's on a whole nother level, man. Like, that man is the layout fucking king.
Yes. It was such an incredible ride. The issue of Sandman, where I'm totally forgetting. Do you remember his name? The Madman?
The one who, like, abducts the...
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah.
No, I don't remember his name. But I know, I knew
totally
that's
fair,
where you were
yeah.
going. Because that's, like, the...
I think it's, like, issue 5 or something.
Yeah.
Or it feels like in the story where in issue 5 should be. I think it was a longer volume than a regular one, but whatever. In any case, where he abducts the woman, and this entire issue is like the tension between the two of them. It made me want to vomit in the best way possible. Like, it's so well written, it's so intense, it's so, like, anxiety inducing. We talked later about in the April special how much the Detective Chimp story reminded us of that, and it's that just expanded out to a full issue. So amazing, absolute mind bender.
It's utterly wild how good. We really do need to at some point delve into Sandman on the podcast, because it is a phenomenal story. Sam Keith I think that was another trepidation. Just like, oh no, we got to read it without Sam Keith because he's not the artist on it anymore after the first volume. But yeah,
it's all right. We'll just read more of the Max too.
Yeah. Acid trip. There you just get the visual. Sam Keith and Neil Gaiman together, just such a 1-2 punch, man.
Really, really amazing. But then in week 9, this must have been. I think this was in October, because I think we went a little Halloween themed.
Yeah.
We did Deceased number 1 through 6 and A Good Day to Die.
We didn't end up getting that. No, we didn't end up getting. That's why I think that's why you have the little
asterisk. It was probably like hey, I don't know if I'll be able to get this issue. It was Space Usagi Yokai Hunter. We did Batman City of Madness number 1, World's Finest Teen Titans number 4, and Hunger in the Dusk number 3. And I think you can start to see here the, like, burgeoning of the podcast, where it's like, yeah, let's read a bunch of stuff that's coming out right now. And we had at this point dropped the JLA stuff, and we're doing like one big thing, and then more and more little issues.
The end of Mark Waid's run, and that's why we dropped it. But then you'll see, actually, starting the week after this week, we start up a new thing in place of JLA that we started reading. That dropped when we reached. But
what do you want to talk about from week 9?
I would have went World's Finest here. We've already talked about World's Finest. I still think we've talked about Hunger in the Dusk ad nauseum on the podcast. That's fair. So I'm not going to.
Which is weird because I think there was only one issue of it left on the pod. Maybe 2 issues left.
Yeah, but we've been talking about volume 2. We've talked a ton about volume 1 and volume 2. I think we've just gone really long on that kind of stuff. So let's talk about Deceased, because that was a little bit of a wild ride. Yeah, Deceased was I think one of those things where we trying to remember the creative team on.
I believe it's Tom Taylor.
It's Tom Taylor, right? Yeah. Where we were like, kind of, we saw similar to Titans, where we thought Tom Taylor struggled with juggling
multiple
a really
characters.
Big cast.
Yeah.
And me not remembering the artist is gonna feel really bad, because Deceased looked freaking rad.
Amazing.
Like,
there were so many amazing variant covers that were coming out with Deceased when it was coming out too. Like all those like zombie variants. Oh my god.
The designs in Deceased were phenomenal.
Yes.
And honestly, I think the rough storyline of Deceased was actually really, really good too. It's just like
he like trying to evacuate.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to evacuate and all that. Like, it was really, really cool. But then it was just like characters would have pop up for like a second and then like vanish, and it was just. And I said when we were reading this, like, it shocked me because he juggled the entire DC universe in Injustice, and I thought he did a phenomenal job there. And then we go to Deceased, and I didn't think he could juggle them. So it was a very weird changing of events there. But yeah, that was a very visually carried book.
Exactly. I think that book was an artist's playground for sure. Like, they're like, we just want to have some absolutely rad stuff to pull so we can do cool things for Halloween at DC. I think they ended up doing...
Trevor Hairstein and inker Stefano Guardino.
Amazing. I think
make
they ended up
on that.
doing like a scare maze of deceased that year too, where they like dressed people up in zombie costumes as the deceased versions of themselves, which is super fun. It really was just a rife book for just spooky and fun shit. Absolutely
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hoot.
I mean, and there were some great moments too, because
When
there's the
Lois has to
Batman.
let John
No, no,
go.
I'm gonna go with the Batman
Okay.
infection one with Nightwing and Alfred there. Like that was honestly
Oh my
such a
God.
moment that hit. Like that, I remember being just like because Batman's like holding it off and like he can feel it coming on, and it's such a such a cool moment.
Such
But
a good
yeah,
Batman moment specifically.
yeah, there were some really like cool moments in there. I just wish it was a little bit better cohesively.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are yeah. Anyway, let's
So
go
deceased.
into week 10/11. Why is it 10/11? I'm assuming
I'd
we did 2
assume
weeks in one.
yeah, I probably did something on Halloween, which
Yeah,
might
so
have
we
gotten
have
in our way.
Tales of the Titans 4, Titans 4, Green Arrow 5, Plot Holes 3, In Hell We Fight 5, and the Hellboy Universe Essentials. And this was our start of Hellboy. Another thing where I'd read the Universe Hellboy Essentials and very little else in Hellboy. But I
I
threw
have a
that
different
our
theory
way.
as why this is week 10/11. And it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Because it didn't happen as much with the pod itself, but there were multiple times when we were doing book club, and I would get a call from my workplace saying, "Hey Katie, you were supposed to be here 20 minutes ago. Are you on your
Oh my
way?"
god, that did happen multiple
Multiple
times.
times!
But I think
Because
usually we would just move to a different day. You know, we just like, oh,
exactly,
we'll do it on
yeah.
Sunday now.
But yeah, for some reason, I don't know what it was, because we would do it in like on Friday mornings, and I would like normally be on the later shift on Fridays, but there were a few
Yeah.
Fridays where it's like, hey, you were supposed to be here at 10. It's 10:30. I'm like, I have been talking about comic books for an hour and a half. I'm so
That's,
sorry.
yeah. Oh my god, you're right. That happened
Yeah,
multiple times.
it
That
happened
was so
multiple
fun every
times.
single time.
And every time it's just like, hey Jay, I'm gonna mute for a second. My work is
And I
calling me.
knew it was something, and you would never even unmute. It would just go, I just see you disconnect.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that's
cracking up. I had no classes on Friday, so I'd just like kick up and be like, okay, what am I doing today?
playing solo. But yeah, I bet that's what happened.
Yeah.
Look, it's all about being
What do
able
you
to
want
talk
to talk
about
about though?
books.
This is a ripe week for stuff.
I mean, it's rough to pick anything but Hellboy, I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, that was a good. That was a
Or
good.
we could talk about plot
I mean,
holes. I think we only had
Oh,
one
you want to
episode.
talk about-
Oh no, we had
Yeah,
two
yeah.
issues of plot hole. Yeah, we'll talk
I'm
about plot
trying to
holes. I fucking love the plot holes.
I'm trying to do plot holes. Yeah. Let's talk about plot holes. Yeah.
I fucking love the plot holes, man.
Yeah.
Sean Gordon Murphy is a wizard.
Yeah, we
End
did
of
get to talk
story.
about the entirety of his Zorro book on the podcast.
Oh, you can't bring up Zorro to me, Jay. I wasn't emotionally prepared.
I
Oh my
love
god.
Zorro.
Zorro was so insanely good. Absolutely
plot holes.
bonkers.
Let's talk about plot holes here, Katie.
Yes,
so
yes.
talk about plot holes.
I thought plot holes was insanely cool. Like talk about a book where you could have done like a fourth wall break. Like they were kind of meta going through books. It was so gorgeously drawn. I loved the character of Ed so fucking much. She was so cool. Her storyline made me weep. The entirety of plot holes was amazing. The bummer was the vampire character and the superhero character not getting like quite as much as they really needed. Like they bonded over being villains in their own stories, but heroes in the story they've taken charge of.
It was a book that I think would have benefited from not being at least a 4-issue miniseries. Like I think it would have benefited from, or was it a 5-issue?
I think it
would have benefited from more time. Whatever.
Agreed.
I think it would have benefited from getting to be longer.
And I think it was a premise that was rife for that. I don't know that Sean Gordon Murphy does many
I don't think he does.
things.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like even the older stuff he did, like The Wake and Chrononauts, I think those were limited series too.
Yeah, I think everything that was pretty much limited. But the one thing I loved in plot holes was the credits were always done like as a script page,
right?
On
Super
that
cute
first left hand page, which was really fun. Yeah,
so rad. It wasn't a very long credits page because Sean Gordon Murphy, again, is a wizard. But they would have, like, didn't they have, like, a little recap where it would be, like, the reader stares at the credits page blankly,
Yeah, that's not a
excited to move
recap.
on to this. Yeah.
It would just be like a like description of you reading the credits. I think that was 1 week. There was always a fun thing there. I don't think it was the same every week. Not every
Which
week. Every
you
month.
love to see someone having fun with
always
their
say every week talking about like one comics instead of every month. I
Me
don't
too.
know why.
Because we're both dumb. But yeah, that was week 10/11. Week 12, clearly we were so hype on Hellboy, we then went to Hellboy Seeds of Destruction. Oh my god, I cannot speak. Seed of Destruction.
Kind of. The next week is the week that we started the podcast, but there is something on there that we didn't.
We did Petrolhead a week late, because we'll get to it when we get to week 13. Okay. Yeah, we did Hellboy, Seed of Destruction, Canary, number 1. That was, I think, Scott Snyder and Dan Panasian. Their Western. Giant Robot Hellboy, number 1. And then Justice League
was
Endless
like double
Winter.
size, but I read it digitally, so I only read the first one while you had read technically the first 2. And that was a whole...
there was a very different experience reading the first 2 versus the
So are we doing next... we're going to end on a negative either way, I think. Because we're not going to talk... We've talked about Petrolhead, so we're going to end on a negative either way here.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't be back negative, and I shouldn't talk about just League Endless Winter here.
Which was bad.
We talked about Giant Robot Hellboy on the pod already. So.
A lot, yeah.
I mean, we didn't talk about Hellboy Universe Essentials, so let's talk about Seed of Destruction. Let's talk about the start of Hellboy here. This was supposed to be originally...
God bless that boy of hell. Oh my god.
This was originally supposed to be like our new thing that we were going to like start the Essentials, which were phenomenal. A lot of those stories so ridiculously good.
The Baba Yaga one, but we're not talking about that. Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about Seed of Destruction. That first
started with
real
the dragon one,
of Hellboy.
Right?
Yeah. And it's just beautiful, fantastically like structured and written. And I mean, it's gorgeous Mike Mignola art all the way through. So like,
I don't think all the way through. Didn't someone else do art on Seed of Destruction?
I don't think on Seed of Destruction in the Essential, right? Isn't the Seed of Destruction all him? I'm pretty sure Seed of Destruction's all him. Am I wrong about that?
You are possibly correct.
I think Seed of Destruction. It's the only Hellboy thing we've read that's all him, but I believe that's all him because that was just the first thing, and that was
Oh, it looks like John Byrne did some of the writing.
That's right. He co-wrote it. You are 100% correct. But yes, he did illustrate it all the way through himself, which was just beautiful, gorgeous, and it really does a good job of making you very interested in this world, this very expansive world that Hellboy is, and it starts building up right away a lot of the like tropes and shared philosophy. Is that the right way to say? Like the fact that they all really care about like burials and Christian, or pagan / Christian, like symbols and ideas and that kind of stuff.
So fucking bad. Like you said, Mike Mignola art all the way through, which is just such a fucking treat. I remember, I think, waxing on and on about his use of negative space because oh my god, it's amazing. We've definitely mentioned this on the pod before about Mike Mignola, but he's so efficient with his space, but he's efficient while not being like stingy, Like he will have blocks of black ink on the page, and it's not that it's being used or not being used, it's that he uses those deep shadows and those darkness to create a shape on the page as a whole that has like darkness and color coming through. It's so amazing.
No, it's really, really incredible what he's able to do on the page a lot of the time. But in any case, let's move into our final week.
Yes.
Week 13 here, which we talked about Petrolhead number 1, but maybe postponed. I don't remember how that happened exactly.
I'll tell the story. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and then because apparently I don't remember it. Teen Titans Academy Volume 1.
Which, so this was the week where at the end of the week Jay was like, "Hey, we should make this into a podcast," because Teen Titans Academy was terrible. We don't need to talk much about it. We did not enjoy it. That's fine. And we won't talk a whole lot about Petrolhead either, because we have obviously many times talked a whole lot about
literally Petrolhead. This issue, there is like a 30-minute review from us.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is we talked about Petrolhead, the first issue, for so long that it was at the end of that you're like, hey, by the way, I was thinking. And I'm like, I was also thinking that. Absolutely.
Was that? I didn't remember like actually discussing Petrolhead before.
We talked about it for like so fucking long. And I remember because it was, I think, the first week that I had actually taken notes on a book because I wanted to remember a bunch of stuff about Teen Titans Academy because a lot of it pissed me the fuck off.
And then we're fucked on again.
Yeah, exactly. And so my Teen Titans Academy had a few sticky notes on it, and my Petrolhead was covered in it. Because I was like, I want to talk about all these fucking things. And then we loved talking about Petrolhead in this like in-depth and very pointed way so much that we're like, yeah, when we next week try to record a podcast episode, we want to make sure we do Petrolhead. And then we'll do Noctera as well, because that's also a book that we can talk about for a very long time.
Because it was also meant to be like a test episode. Like that's why it was episode 0. I think originally we weren't planning on uploading it.
Correct.
And then at some point in the process, we just decided
we're like, if we're doing all this work, why would we not?
Actually, yeah, because I think where it went was we did it, and then we did like it as a test recording, and then we went, well, we should also like test edit it. And this was when we decided, for whatever reason, to like edit so in depth on like every line, cutting out little pauses and all this shit. It took hours.
It took hours. I was dog sitting at the time. I remember.
After all of that, we were like, yeah, we've got to put this up. And I think we did to a lesser, like that was the only week we went that crazy. But I think for a good like 3-4 weeks, we were still like doing a little
pauses, stuff like that. It was very dumb. Yeah, then the podcast was born. And I think Petrol had
edited out in episode 0. I think we actually edited out like entire parts of conversations.
I think so too. Correctly. Yeah. We're like, oh, this wasn't as strong. Let's get rid of it. Yeah. Now you're all subjected to all of our mostly unedited thoughts. Because frankly,
now that's why videos go so long now.
I mean, let's see. The Creator Corner was 50 minutes. We're up to 45 minutes on this.
Well over an hour. This is gonna be over a 2-hour episode. So.
It sure is.
You're welcome.
Happy anniversary. With that,
happy anniversary. This is self-indulgent. Like this episode is fully self-indulgent.
It truly.
Sorry if anybody's actually trying to listen to this.
But speaking of self-indulgent, I'm about to try to humiliate Jay. So let's head over to the news.
Let's do it.
All right, today in the news, we are looking at the sales data for DC's All-In initiative. Now, Jay,
I know the absolute information here. I know.
Oh, I'm not talking about absolute. We're talking about specifically All-In.
No.
So All-In was obviously DC's bid to get people to jump into DC Comics.
Yeah.
They made a bunch of their stuff have this All-In tag, so people knew this is a place where you can come in and just pick the story up.
Yeah.
Jay, I'm going to start with giving you no clues.
Yeah, that's
your
fine.
goal.
The rough thing is going to be trying to remember like which are number ones, because those are going to have an extra bump, I think, compared to the ones that aren't number ones.
I will tell you right now, this is specifically for their October releases. All of their new number ones were November releases. So
okay, that's great.
I'm sorry. This does have one number one.
Absolute books are not the absolute books
are not a part of this.
Oh, I know that
one number one in here, and I'm going to let you know it's the DC All-In number one. I've included that.
Oh yeah, because that makes sense. My brain just farted for a second. That's good. That's got to be high, right? So what's my goal here? Am I just trying to name like the top 5, top 10? How many are there?
So I have all of them. I have all of them.
Give me a number.
There are 17 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like essentially get them top to bottom here.
I think that your goal should be to get them from top to bottom. Or if you want to jump in with other random places, you're welcome to say that you think something belongs in slot 13 or 17.
That would be really tough. I mean, the tough thing, I mean, I can verbalize my like before I walk in.
Yeah. Tell me when you want to walk in.
That's more fun than watching me sit here without saying.
Yeah.
So I know the top of this list is going to be dominated by the All-In Special and Batman related books. So the question is,
would you like me to break this down at all for you?
No, not
what
yet.
I can give you is stuff in the top 25, the top 50, the top 100, the 150, and the 200.
Oh, so we're Wait. So this you're
So
not
this
just looking at sales data for the all-in books.
Well, it's sales data for all books, but I only am
but
looking
yeah,
at the all-in-one.
okay.
So obviously they're in order.
That's
Yeah,
good to
yeah,
know.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good to know. So, would you be willing to tell me where the top-rated all-in book is in general on the list?
No, because I didn't write that down.
Okay, you wrote it down.
I think it was pretty high. What I'll tell you is, what I'm going to tell you is that there are 4 books.
You have a list that you made of just the all-in books in order.
Correct, and I have it split into the books that were in the top 25, 50, 100, 150, and 200.
Okay. How many were in the top 25? That's all I want. That's all I want.
That's what I meant by break it down. There were 4 books in the top 25.
Okay, I want to get those 4. That's my first go. So the all-in special.
Where are you placing it?
I'm putting it number 1, but I feel like you tell me if it's in the top 4. Like I feel like that, but you can do whatever you want. That's my thing.
Well, just tell me where you're placing it. So you're placing it at number 1?
Yeah.
It is number 1.
You trying to make me make a whole list here? I've never fucking done that to you.
Yes, you have.
No, I always say yes or no, and then I let you keep guessing shit.
No. Okay, I understand your question now. No, yes, it is number 1.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying I'm placing them, and you were gonna make me go down and make a list of 17, and then
that'd be
bonkers. You this many right. I was like, that is mean.
The DC, and this is by units. The DC all-in number 1 special is number 1.
Great. Oh, I should have asked that actually, because that would have really bad. I should have asked if it was by units or by price. So it's by units. Okay, great.
It is by units. Yeah.
I'm glad I actually didn't ask that up front, because I think by price would have been what would have slid me more towards the all-in special, because I think that was extra expensive.
It was.
So, yeah, I think that was great. I think I'm questioning myself slightly, because I know Action Comics was picked up by Mark Waid, and I know that might be. Can I ask you a clarifying question?
Yes, of course.
You said there were no number 1s, so I assume you are not counting DC books that are not all in initiative mainline.
Correct.
Like
this is
Batman
only
and
the
Robin
books that fell in.
Not count. Like Batman
Correct.
and Robin.
This is only all in books.
I just wanted to double check that because I was like, Batman and Robin Year 1 was probably a thing that would have been high. So I'm torn between main Batman and Robin was last month, I believe. It was the last week of last month. I'm fairly certain. Batman and Robin 14. I'm fairly certain.
All of the all-in books that were not Batgirl, JSA, and Black Lightning were last month. So they're all included on this.
Yeah, so I'm torn between Batman and Robin, and Action Comics. Those are like
Action Comics. You're talking about your Batmans. Oh no, you said your Mark Waid thing. Okay.
Yeah, because I think Mark Waid and like the thing, and I think that's coming out. There's something weird with the Action Comics. Like that was
Action Comics really is weekly. I only took the first.
Okay, yeah. So I think like that had some hype behind it because of all that stuff. So like my brain's like, Mark Waid weekly. Like I think there's some hype there. You don't bet against Batman though, right? I'm going the main Batman book for number 2. I'm going Batman.
Incorrect.
No.
Would you like me to tell you whether or not it's in the top 25?
I want you to tell me if it's in the 4 that are in the top 25. Yeah.
Mainline Batman is not top 25.
Oh my god! This has destroyed my worldview. I'm going Action Comics. I'm going Action Comics in the number 2 slot now.
Action Comics is not in the top 25.
Oh. I am dead. This is bad. I started off so well. Oh no. Oh no. I believe the reason I'm not talking about Wonder Woman, by the way, when I brought up a Batman and Superman book, is because I think Wonder Woman, while it was all in, didn't really follow the all in initiative. Like I think Tom King's still writing that, whereas a lot of the other books got new creative teams. So
I believe you are correct. At least that Tom King is still writing it.
So I don't think that would get as much hype behind, because new creative teams are typically, when it didn't get a new number 1 or a new creative team, like I think that makes it rough for it to get the same bump.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that's why, in case anyone else was like, why are you not throwing out Wonder Woman? I have a reason. I don't think Wonder Woman is going to be high. I could be wrong. It's just like I don't think the Superman book's going to be high either. Like I thought if it was going to be one of the 2, it would be Action Comics. Maybe I'm stupid. Katie is like trying to death face, which is making it very difficult.
That's correct.
I am. That was really bad for me, man.
I will say, that Batman and Action Comics are not in the top 25. Do you want to drop to a different tier? We have 50,
No,
100,
no,
150, and 200.
that's gonna be
Okay.
more hurtful
Okay, fair
to
enough.
sit there and
Fair
try
enough.
to do things out of order. We're gonna sit here and try to do the number 2 right now, and
Okay.
I gotta throw out, because otherwise I'm gonna kick myself for it being one of the things I said when I say I gotta throw out Batman and Robin 14 as my next guess.
Batman and Robin is not in the top 25.
Oh my god, am I missing like a big? But you said there were no number 1s, so I'm just gonna clarify. New Gods 1 has not come out yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, that was another one that had some hype behind it, so I'm just like trying to. Oh, Titans!
Titans is not in the top 25.
What the fuck is going on? Oh, Nightwing
Nightwing is not in the top 25. Okay, Jay, I'm gonna check in with you here. Do you understand why your little games stress me out?
No,
The
I
world
disagree.
doesn't make sense.
I got number 1. Which makes me feel I'm gonna set a. I gotta throw out Wonder Woman now, because I'm just gonna feel real stupid if I like fully eliminated that and I don't come back to it. So I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna guess Wonder Woman
Wonder Woman
is not in the top
is number
25.
2.
Oh,
Wonder Woman was the second best-selling book from the All-In Initiative, was the
I am
top non-All-In
shocked.
special book. My guess is because it wasn't really part of it. It's a series that's been very popular, and so I think it's probably just people being like, "Oh, I like what's been happening, so I'll keep picking it up."
That's wild. I mean,
Yeah.
that basically breaks every price. Like, you know, the idea is that numbers only go down in comic series. They don't. So anyway, that's wild to me. I'm glad I threw it out there. And so everything else I named, you said wasn't in the top 25, so it can't be 3 or 4. Anything I've named so far cannot be 3 or 4.
That is accurate.
Okay, we're gonna quickly.
And you're going for number 3 now.
I'm going for number 3 now. I'm gonna quickly like resettle myself.
Okay.
I know. I'm like gonna grab some books that I know are selling well in general, and because I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna look for the books that are not changing creative teams now instead of, because evidently I'm gonna. I know Green Lantern's not changing creative teams. It's been very popular. I think Flash also isn't changing creative teams. It's been very popular. World's Finest is kind of changing creative.
What I'll say is World's Finest was not a part of the All-In Initiative.
Shit.
I learned that today.
We'll slide that to the
I'm
side.
putting this list.
I'm not saying bullshit to you. I hope you know that. I'm saying bullshit in general. Okay, that's good information. So yeah, those two. Poison Ivy has been selling pretty well. Gonna put that to the side. So I think Flash has been selling worse than Green Lantern side by side. So I think if I'm gonna go Jeremy Adams, I'm going Green Lantern. But Poison Ivy has been like they keep doing. It's getting. I think it's getting like a one shot or something weirdly, or like a one shot.
It had the Swamp Thing one shot.
Yeah, exactly. So like clearly it's doing well. And I think I'm going with one of these because I want to go now with the like stationary. Oh, maybe then put Superman back on the table, right? Let's pull Superman back on this. Actually, no, Joshua Williamson did drop Superman, didn't he? That is a new creative team, isn't it? I think that man was doing too much stuff. I know he was dropping books. Shit. Okay. I've got Superman in front of me.
What's your guess for number 3?
Flash, and I've got Poison Ivy. That's what's on the table right now. I mean, I feel like I just made the same mistake I made with one, so I'm gonna throw Superman out there. I'm gonna throw Superman.
Superman is not number 3.
But it is in the top 25. Yes. I'm locking in Superman for number 4.
Superman is number 4.
That wasn't too bad. I feel decently about that.
Okay.
I just had to find that one down one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like a hint about number 3?
No, because I'm gonna throw I've got to throw it behind my guy. We're going Green Lantern. Locked in at number 3. Yeah, okay. You were so mean about that one.
And this is the last one for the top 25, so, just a no is a no.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. That's
or would you like me to drop down to the top 50 as well?
Why don't you throw me a little hint here?
You're missing something very obvious. Your previous logic was not, or one of your bits of previous logic was not wrong, and you missed something.
I'm missing a Batman book. Detective Comics.
It is Detective Comics number 1090.
Yeah, that's fair. was fair.
All right,
Okay.
we are down to the top
Number
50.
2 killed me, but I feel
Number
like
2 destroyed you. Yeah.
the rest of that I didn't do awful with.
You
But
didn't do.
two,
No,
I
you're
really
good.
embarrassed myself.
Yeah.
But I blew a bunch of things on number 2.
Which
Okay,
is
we're
so
dropping
fair.
that. How many are in the next?
There are
in
3
top 50?
books in the top 50, so that's 5,
Okay.
6, and 7 on the list.
Okay.
And you're
Batman.
back to square one.
Batman.
Batman is not number 5.
Okay. Can you give me the top 4 again, just so that I don't
DC All-In Special,
Yep.
Wonder Woman, Detective Comics, and Superman. And I'm happy to repeat that whenever you need it.
Thank you. I'm going for so many here. Okay. Green Lantern's not going to be this high. I love my boy, but he's not going to be this high.
You were considering it for slot 3.
Because I had gone through so many. Now, like, a lot of the things
fair
back.
enough.
Okay.
Yeah, back on the table,
Yeah. That was because I had forgotten about Detective Comics. I was just like,
yes,
I
were
did
fully
not know
floundered.
what else could be that high. And I was like, this is what's left. Like, I've gone, I'm going to throw Titans here. I think it's time for Titans. I think this is Titans' time.
Titans is not in the top 100.
What? John Layman, I'm 50. Sorry.
The top
we
50.
have this. Oh, I thought you were just giving me like a big thing.
No.
We as a society have failed you, John Layman, and
yes.
I fully
But don't
apologize.
worry, we as a podcast have succeeded. We both bought it. I also want to reiterate, Batman is not number 5. Yeah. Just to make sure that didn't slip past you.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Because I don't want you to yell at me if you
No, Batman
don't
is gonna be here. That's fine. We're gonna get Batman. Don't worry. I just want to get this. I'm gonna throw out Nightwing. Right? It's got to be a Nightwing.
Nightwing is number 5.
Okay.
Nightwing
there we go.
119.
Yeah. There we go. Batman 6.
I will say Nightwing 118 did outsell Nightwing 119 though. So the end of Tom Taylor's run, because remember they did both in the same month.
Yeah.
Number 6?
Yeah, it's Batman. It's Batman.
It is Batman, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we knew that was coming. Okay, so now
right.
7 is the last one
left in the top 50.
7 is the last one in this tier. It's Action Comics.
It is Action Comics. Look at you, you're blowing through now.
Now I'm getting it. Okay, you see, this is now where I'm in my bag. I just went. That was great. I nailed it there. I knew that's how that needed to fit in. Now
you did a great job. Yes, the top 100 has 6 books in it.
Okay.
Which honestly, I think is a good thing for you.
Yeah.
Because then you at least know the pieces, even if you don't know the order.
So,
and I'll remind you that this is out of a list of 17 titles.
Batman and Robin has not landed on the list yet, right?
Correct.
Batman and Robin
is not number 8.
I've done Detective. I've done Action. Superman, Batman. Nightwing. Titans.
Titans is not number 8.
Oh, you know what? We're at that time now. It's Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern.
It is Green Lantern. Green Lantern is number 8.
We got it. Yeah, this is the Green Lantern.
That takes us to number 9.
Flash should be close. Flash and they're usually right there, but I don't think it's 9. I think it. You know, I'm gonna do for the first time. I'm gonna do what you let me do. Flash is number 10.
The Flash is not number 10.
Damn it! How cool would I have looked though?
Real cool.
I did 8, right? Green Lantern was 8, right? I didn't fuck that up.
Green Lantern was 8. You're currently on 9.
I was like, did I fuck up the one number jump? Because then I look like a complete idiot. No, okay. So I'm gonna throw Poison Ivy. I think it's Poison Ivy time.
Poison Ivy is not in the top 100.
Damn it! I overestimated how well that was selling because Katie won't shut up about it. Just another brain nugget of a thing that exists. Birds of Prey exists. Need to put that on the table.
Birds of Prey was not in the top 100.
I said it existed. I was not guessing that. I was putting that down on the table as a thing that exists.
Okay. Now you know.
Yeah. No, that was just the thing that I was putting out as a thing that exists. I know there's things that I've said that have existed now that I've not lumped back to. Has Batman and Robin landed on it yet? It did, right? That happened. No, Batman and Robin hasn't landed yet, has it? Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin is number 9. We are now on to number 10, which you know is not the Flash.
It's not Flash. That would have really tracked. If I had gotten that and then gotten Batman and Robin in the middle, it would have been real nice.
Would have been.
I'm shocked this isn't Flash. Oh my
You're on number
god.
10.
We've done Titans, right? Titans is on
No.
there. No, Titans isn't on there. This is Titans.
You've not correctly guessed Titans.
This is
You've now correctly guessed Titans.
Okay.
Titans
I was
is
like,
number 10.
that was nice. And now it's Flash.
The Flash is not number 11.
What the? I'm not happy about that. So he's not there. Oh, I'm gonna really struggle now. This is bad. Like, I think I've reached the end of like things that I have in my head here. Let's think of DC.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm more worried about number 12 for you.
I'm on 11 right now.
You're on 11.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You're more worried about 12? So 12's not going to be Flash? I'm not going to just come... Wait, but you didn't tell me Flash wasn't in the top 100, did you?
Correct.
Oh, there's more. It's not just 12. There's more in the top 100.
There's also 13.
13 is Flash.
13 is Flash.
You gave that away.
I accidentally gave that one away.
Yeah,
but I want you to know I'm really worried about number 12 for you.
Oh no. I don't know. So, are you willing to tell me?
You haven't gotten 11 yet, though.
Yeah, I'm like,
you will get 11.
Tell me, have I said 11 out loud? Like, have I forgotten something that I've said?
You've said 11 out loud.
Okay, so it's something that I've forgotten that I've said.
I don't know if you've guessed it, but you've definitely said it.
That's fair. That's fair. Can you read me the whole thing of what's happened so far? Because I need a reminder.
DC All In, number 1. Wonder Woman, Detective Comics, Superman, Nightwing, Batman, Action Comics, Green Lantern, Batman and Robin, Titans.
And Flash.
Oh, and then Flash beneath.
You didn't tell me Poison Ivy wasn't in the top 100, right?
I did tell you Poison Ivy was not in the top 100.
Oh, so it's not, okay. Thank you for the clarifying, because there's just been a lot going. There's a lot of things now.
There is.
No, the end of this is definitely rough. I stand by my fact that your performances in the beginning of these things is sometimes sad. But it gets really rough by the end. No, I have to throw shade at you even as I'm failing, because
of course, yeah, he needs to deflect from his own failure.
I need to deflect, yeah, exactly. Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad is not on this list.
Okay. Is it
if
not
it's running, it's not an all-in book.
Oh no, because it was the weird like Task Force 7 thing, right? During the event. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Remember, 11 is something you have said already tonight.
That's right.
During this segment.
Okay. Shit. What the hell have I said? You told me Poison Ivy is not in the top 100, so put that away. Talked about Batman, but I think I've. Will you tell me if I have exhausted all of the Batman books?
You've exhausted all the Batman books.
Okay. Thank you. Because otherwise I'm going to be like...
I mean the books with Batman as the main character.
Yes.
I'm not going to say there aren't any
No,
Batman
I meant like
related.
the Batman, Detective Comics, Batman and Batman in a pie.
Correct.
Batman off of a world. You
have exhausted all of the Batman all-in books.
Because otherwise I'm going to be thinking about how many combinations
I want you to know it is bad that you have not guessed this one yet. Number 11.
I said it out loud, which is...
You've said it out loud multiple times.
It means it's just like gone. My brain is like slotted it in
what
already.
What I'm going to say is it's particularly embarrassing for you not to have guessed it yet.
I got Green Lantern, right? Green Lantern's on
the...
I got Nightwing, right?
You did.
Okay. Green Lantern. Have I said? I have not said Green Arrow. If that's where you're fucking me here. I'm gonna say Green Arrow now.
It is Green Arrow in slot 11. I did not say
Green Arrow at any.
Yes, you did. You were talking about the books Joshua Williamson was on, and you talked about Green Arrow up top when you were going through the books that you remembered happening.
I thought I talked about just Superman for Joshua Williamson. Oh no, that's my bad. Okay.
You can run the tape. You might not have said it when talking about Joshua Williamson, but you have said Green Arrow.
That's fair.
Okay, now we're into the territory where I am worried about you. This is the last one for the top 100.
You don't think I'm going to get 12?
I don't know that you will get 12.
Is it... You don't think that I even know this is a DC book right now?
That is my concern. I don't know what you know.
No, that's
But
fair.
I don't know that
Whoa,
I knew that
whoa, whoa,
this. Oh,
Okay. The thing is, I was really excited, but there's no way you would think that I wouldn't think that this is a book. But I'm still gonna guess it. Shazam.
Shazam did not release in October. It's on hiatus until December.
What? Man could do 4 books for fucking Action Comics this month.
I was
He
trying
couldn't
to
do a
figure
goddamn
out. It's a
Shazam?
little confusing, the release of Shazam. If Shazam did release, it was not in the top 200.
Okay.
But then I was looking on League of Comic Geeks and it says cover date of December 2024.
Okay.
But I thought I remembered seeing it in stores, so it's possible that it just has such abysmal sales, it wasn't in the top 200.
Damn. Okay.
But it looks like it's confused
What
about
book
whether or
would
not
I-
it actually
Oh my
came out.
god. My brain has just gotten a nugget.
Oh,
Is it? You have to give this to me if it's even like in the ballpark of what I'm about to say, because I'm not gonna get it right.
okay.
Is it? Like, what are their names? Like Fire and Ice, the ones that
It
were
is
in the Heat
not.
Target. Okay.
They had a series
had a
a
book at
while
some
ago,
point.
but they do not have
Yeah.
one going anymore, I don't
Alright.
think. I think it was like a 6-issue mini.
Okay.
And if it is
That's-
going, it was not an all-in book.
That's bad. Because
What I'll say, you were warmer than I would have expected you to be
Okay.
with a random guess.
It's not the Authority, because we were just talking about the Authority, and you would be
That's
like,
colder.
"What do you mean about that?" What?
I'm giving you a little warmer, colder action
Okay.
with the
You said that
basis
was
of fire and ice.
You said that was colder?
That was colder than fire and ice.
Okay. Is it Firestorm?
I'm gonna say Firestorm is colder than fire and ice.
The thing is, I just don't know where we're on, because like I went
Also,
Firestorm.
you don't have to
it was on
use
Power
my
Set.
warmer, colder. It might
No,
be
I'm saying, it was
too
on
detrimental.
Power Set. It was on Power Set, like Firestorm should be close. But if you're saying on like it's following like 2 women type thing, and we do. Where were we at with Birds of Prey? What was the last thing I found out about Birds of Prey? Because
Birds of Prey was not in the top 50.
Okay. There's no way, because I've said Birds of Prey out loud, so you would not be saying that I would think that it's not a thing here. Is it Birds of Prey and you've just been fucking me over here?
It is not Birds of Prey. It is not. Birds of Prey is not in the top 100.
Okay. You just really gave me that moment of like, are you trying to fuck on me?
All right, number 12 on the list, and this sold better than The Flash did.
Shit. Are we
which
trying
I will
like,
remind you.
which is wild to me. I'm like thinking, am I supposed to be thinking like Tom King centric? Is that like the vibe?
I don't know who the creative team on this book is.
Okay. It's not Black Canary. She doesn't have anything yet until the Tom King
That's
book
warmer
comes
than
out.
Fire and Ice. By a large degree.
So Fire and Ice was warm only because they were women. Is that what's going on?
Maybe. Yeah. Look, it's not that I would. It's. I wouldn't have expected you to guess Fire and Ice out of nowhere.
I know Ivy can't be I know Ivy's not in the top 100.
Correct.
This is getting real rough. Like I am trying to pull female DC characters out of my brain. Starfire doesn't have a book. Raven doesn't have a book.
I'll say
Troy.
you were legitimately close with Black Canary.
I feel like Black Canary is a hard character to be close. Oh, is it Batwoman?
Batwoman does not have an ongoing right now. Or a series right now.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know what character.
Even closer.
I don't know what character is considered close to. Is it Huntress?
Huntress does not have a series going right now. Though I would say Huntress is even closer than Batwoman.
God damn it. I was like, I don't know who Black Canary is similar to outside of that. So, and then Huntress. Who is Huntress close to? There's no
Not
way.
many people. She has big emotional walls.
One of the million. Is it any of the million Green Arrow female sidekicks? Because there's no way any of them got solo books. Okay. It'd be wild if one of them got a solo book before Roy did right now, and I would be real fucking mad. Because I'm sorry, but they do nothing with those fucking characters. They showed up in Green Arrow as like a unit, and they were like, we are all the red female sidekicks.
Alright, Jane Brick, come on. You're so close with Huntress. I'm like going to kill you.
Who is Huntress close to though?
You were also very close with Batwoman.
there's no way. How would Babs have a book right now, right? Like, because there's already
It
a
is
Batgirl
not
book.
Babs, and I would say that Babs is colder than Kate
Huntress.
and Kate and Helena.
Oh, it's Catwoman.
It is Catwoman, yeah. I did just fuck up there.
He's not fucking close to Catwoman.
Okay, to be clear, it got you on the right track eventually.
Where did I go? Is Huntress closer than Batwoman is?
I think in terms of like anti-heroism.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've gotten the top 100.
Oh, that was rough. How many have I done now total? I've done 13?
You've done 13 of the 17.
There's 4 left, and I believe I know 2 of the books. I don't know that I remember.
3 of them are in the top 150.
Okay, and I believe I know 2 of the books
in the top 200.
The only one I can remember that I guessed that exists and has not been locked in yet.
Because of the nature of how many books there are, I don't think I'm going to tell you top 150 or 200.
That's fine.
Okay.
I know Poison. I think there was another book though that I said that I know is a book. Oh, Birds of Prey. So there's 2 books that I know exist.
Yeah, we're starting with slot 14.
Yeah, so that's good. There's 4 books left, and I know what 2 of them are.
You know,
even though I don't know them. So that's very good. That's a great start.
I think you'll be able to get to one of the other ones. I don't know that you'll be able to get to the other.
Poison Ivy for this slot.
Not 14.
How bad does this book sell? It's been extended how many times? How is it like at the very bottom of the list? No shade. I thought this book was selling amazingly, and it's very much hurting me that it's not. I've guessed it everywhere so far because I thought this book was selling gangbusters.
I think it was.
Birds of Prey.
No, not 14.
Okay. I'm gonna guess Poison Ivy is at the bottom of the list. It's 17.
Not 17.
I had to do that before I guessed it at every slot and ended up there. Okay. Oh no! So that means I need one of the 2 remaining books. Katie, am I gonna be able to get the 2 remaining books?
You're gonna be able to get this one. I don't know that you'll be able to get the other one. I'll give you hints for the other one.
Okay. Can you tell me if it's a male or female character at least, so I have like a
The entire bottom 4 is female characters.
Okay. That is very helpful information. Who else exists? Talia and Lady Shiva would not get books. I'm in my villain era right now. I mean, is it Batwoman? Like, is it Batwoman now? Like, did I get there early? Batwoman does not. Okay.
Neither does Huntress, if you're gonna guess her.
Is anyone that was on that train that I went on? Do any of them have books?
You have not said. I told you that when they didn't have books. You have not said this character's name yet.
That's wild. How many female characters does DC have? Like,
not that many.
Right? My brain is on anti-hero / like anti-villain because that's what every female character in DC is, villain who becomes kind of not a villain. So that's where my brain is right now.
Did you like my warm or colder?
Sure.
You are red hot with that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Like as hot as you can possibly be.
Yeah.
Like the blueprint.
Oh my god. Is it fucking oh no. Her name is not there. Like I can picture her in my brain, but her name is not there. I mean, it might not be her. It's probably not her.
I'm gonna be concerned about you if you can't recall her name.
Okay, so I don't think this is who I
who are you thinking?
Livewire. Livewire was who I was thinking.
Oh, no, not Livewire.
Because Livewire should have a fucking book. That would be cool, or it should be in a book. Like, they don't do shit with Livewire.
They should. She's cool as hell. Jay, this is an embarrassing one with the clues you've been given.
I'm missing a big anti-villain. It's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's fucking Harley. Harley has a series going right now, apparently, and it's number 14.
Because she had the Birds of Prey thing. That's why she was already, like, crossed off in my brain.
No, it's on issue 44, apparently.
On that note.
Number 15.
Is it Birds of Prey?
It is not.
Is it Poison Ivy?
It is not. Poison Ivy is literally in the last place that you will guess.
Poison Ivy 16. Let's lock that in. It was literally just not in the absolute bottom slot.
And that means you also know what number 17 is.
Oh yeah, that's Birds of Prey. Jeez.
Yep.
Oh,
Which
that's
is not in the top
I thought those
200.
two books were like supposedly like doing
Right?
awesome.
Okay,
And they
this
were
last
just
one.
reversed. So that they didn't. Okay, so this is the last
Yeah.
one.
This last
There's a
one is going to
female
be rough
character,
for you.
and it's going to
What
be a
I'll
rough
say
guess.
is it's on issue 14, which means
On
that
issue
it started
14?
at the same time as The Flash and Wonder Woman and Batman and Robin. And Birds of Prey. You know it's a female character. I will
Black
say
Canary.
your logic that got you to Harley will not get you to this character.
So it's not an anti-villain. So we're talking either a hero or we're talking a weird fucking thing for them to be doing. Zatanna. Did I do it?
No, her Black Label book is not an all-in book.
Fuck. I was just like, who would they give a book? Oh, no, there's no way it's fucking Mary Marvel. That would be weird if there's no Shazam book right now. There's a Mary Marvel book. That makes no fucking sense.
I will say the Shazam book is still going. I believe that the issue that was meant to come out...
you telling me this because there is a fucking Mary Marvel book? Is it Mary Marvel?
I am telling you this because the Shazam book is going right now.
Is it Mary Marvel? Answer the damn question.
It is not Mary Marvel.
I feel lied to. Oh, I know it. It's Hawkgirl.
It is not Hawkgirl.
Oh, she had a book. I heard it was awful. Because that's like they did the bullshit where they split Hawkgirl into two different characters, and there's now Hawkwoman
right.
and Hawkgirl, and
I will
people
say
are real
Hawkgirl
not.
is not far off.
Okay,
like it's not close.
Okay, well, there's two angles I can go with that. Either they're bird themed or they're a Justice Leaguer. Katie is looking at me with the most like disappointed look. Are they bird themed? Answer the question.
They're not bird themed.
Oh damn it! It's not just a dove book. That would be weird.
I just said they're not bird themed.
That's true. Listen, my brain popped in my brain as like a character that exists, and I was like, "There's no way there's a Wonder Girl book." Oh wait, no. You said we know number one, so it's not Trinity with the new Trinity book coming out.
Correct.
And you would be much more like annoyed looking at the screen right now.
I am a blank facade so that you can glean nothing from your ramblings.
It's not Batwoman, right? Batwoman that's already...
we've established, Batwoman does not have a book.
Yeah. Okay.
Though she is going to be in the question book that's going to be coming out.
Batwoman. Is it the... No, it can't be the question because that hasn't come out yet. It should be the question. God, no, actually, the question should be something better. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
If we don't have too full of a schedule, we should definitely look into doing.
We should definitely do the question book.
It's fucking cool. This is rough. So it's not a villain.
I'll
need
say
a hero.
It seems to have come out.
DC doesn't have that many female heroes that are not like
months
attached.
After
Supergirl.
You're close. Very close.
Okay, can't be Batgirl. Because that has a
Jay,
book
you are close.
Is it Superwoman? Is there a book called fucking Superwoman? No. Okay.
You're so close, Jay.
Katie, I heard you like scoot your chair past closer, and it just made me uncomfortable.
You're so close.
Not Supergirl, Superwoman. What is close to them? So you said it's a female, so it can't be like Superboy or anything like that. That'd be
Haven't you been reading Action Comics?
No, I've not been reading. I was reading Action Comics. No, I was a while ago.
Jay, please, she's right there.
Who else is there? Is this a new character? A relatively new character? Okay.
Jay, you're so close.
There's no way there's a fucking Lois Lane book.
It is not Lois Lane.
All right. I will lose my mind if there's a Lois Lane book. This is not the goddamn 60s.
Jay, no, you're so close. I'm dying. I'm dying over how close you are.
We just talked about the fact that Superman doesn't have that big of a family.
I think she has literally been Supergirl at some point.
Matrix? There's no fucking book.
No.
Giganta?
No. You're going farther away.
Spin Supergirl.
Okay, Jay, I believe she was on the cover of the Action Comics book. Not alone.
Like recently?
Yeah, like on the all-in one.
I don't have that. That's not helpful.
I
I'm not
believe she
seeing
was
that
also a part of the team in the Dawn of DC Action Comics, which I think is what you were reading, right?
I think was it before? I think it was before Dawn of DC. I might have read
believe
into
you.
Dawn. I don't remember. This is not gonna be good. This is not good. Who else exists?
While most members of the Superman family have a shield on their chest, she has a circle.
Power Girl.
It's fucking Power Girl. Yeah, she's on
I knew
issue
there was
14.
a Power Girl book too. I should have gotten that. I knew there was a fucking Power Girl book. It just hit me. She's been yes, it makes sense. That had really thrown me off because I was like on Super, and then like she's been Supergirl at one point really threw me off because I was like, nobody's fucking been Supergirl aside from Supergirl and the weird point in the 90s when Matrix was Supergirl. Like, like Supergirl's not a role that's there's been a lot of roles, but Supergirl's not a role that's been taken on by a lot of people.
I believe Power Girl has, but I think she.
Oh, I'm sure she has.
I think so.
But I was just like that.
Yeah, she was just clearly not in your brain.
I was like, nobody's fucking been super like that. That broke me because I was just like, my brain immediately went like, only like weird alternate universe shit has been like Supergirl's not a character that a lot of people have been.
Yeah, no, I was worried that you weren't gonna get Power Girl, and I was worried you weren't gonna get Catwoman.
The sad thing is, I didn't know there was a Power Girl book because I think I actually picked up the first issue of this book, and yeah, Power Girl was there towards the end of when I was reading Action Comics. So, but my brain was like really like it wanted another like super something like character.
You did really well on a lot of these.
There was some rough. Number 2 was way too rough or way too long. I am shocked.
I am too.
Tom King is apparently just a huge needle mover,
right?
And even like way more so than Mark Waid, which I don't think I'd give him credit to Tom King for.
Me either.
And
but
really,
yeah.
This made me think Mark Waid isn't as much of a needle mover as I thought he was.
I think Mark Waid talks about a lot of books is the problem.
I think he just does too much, right? He's just doing too many books. So he can't move all those needles as much.
Exactly. Yeah. That is the results of
that stressed me
of DC's all-in sales. I think that it kind of tracks that most like the chunk of them were between the top 100 and the top 150. And like you said, it's a little wild that Wonder Woman and Superman were both in the top 25 when they're technically all in, but not like.
I can't actually remember if Joshua Williamson was dropping Superman or not. Like, I know he was dropping Green Arrow, right? But I don't know if he dropped Superman or not. I don't think he did, right?
But also, I think it is very wholesome that in the top 25, it's, a broad DC book, and then Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. I'm like, hey, look at that! The Trinity's doing their thing. They're carrying the DC universe.
Their thing. It was very interesting, the order here. Like, a lot of it makes some sense. Flash, I think, is doing way worse than I would have expected.
I'm surprised Green Arrow is doing as well as it is. I don't know why I'm surprised about that. I just feel like it was a series I wasn't feeling super.
Like, I was definitely. I'm shocked Poison Ivy isn't doing it because I feel like Green Arrow and Poison Ivy were doing a very similar thing where they like got extended and it was like a big fan. But I guess like the thing is now that they are just true ongoings, the like whole idea. What was pushing them to be so successful, which was if you don't buy this, it's going to end.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't.
And I think it's also a big thing that Green Arrow's on 17. Poison Ivy's already on 26.
That's true. It's
Poison Ivy's been going for a
really long
time.
running, the biggest number on there, right?
So, I mean, other than Detective Comics and Action Comics and Nightwing and Batman.
We said the really big ones.
Catwoman's also on 69.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that started all the way back like during Scott Snyder's run, didn't it? Or during not Scott Snyder's run, during Tom King's run rather.
Must have, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Names are
absolutely wild.
No, but like
just like this
I
entire
not think I should have thought about the actual numbers of the issues, but the issue is I would not remember what number each issue was. But that's super
fair.
I'm sure if you look up the chart, there is at least some semblance of lower numbers helping things out.
Probably, yeah. Except for Catwoman, who's still at number 12 on the list, even though she's on issue 69. Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, but outside of
And
Flash,
Nightwing's
is
up
she
there.
ahead of any other big character? Like, I think
Flash is
besides
only on 14.
That's what I'm saying. Besides Flash, though, like in terms of what she's above on the list, like Flash is the only character that's arguably bigger than her that she's above, right?
I feel like Birds of Prey and Poison Ivy are maybe not Birds of Prey, but I feel like in recent years, Poison Ivy's become like super duper
Catwoman
iconic.
is definitely bigger than Ivy. Like Poison Ivy has what, like one movie appearance, you know? Catwoman's been all over the damn place.
But yeah, absolutely wild. This all-in chart. I'm glad that it was harder.
Birds of Prey, I'm shocked as low as it is. I feel like that is one that I really.
Birds of Prey is not even in the top 200. Like that's cancellation zone.
That's wild to me. Like I really thought, like Birds of Prey is the one that I think, looking at the list overall, I'm most shocked. Because Poison Ivy, in a general sense, I'm not shocked about. Like I was only shocked about Poison Ivy because of what I heard and made me think it was selling phenomenally well. You know, like Birds of Prey, I am genuinely shocked as low as it is.
Right?
Like on just a street level.
Because I think, is Kelly Thompson still doing Birds of Prey? Because she's doing absolute Wonder Woman. So like,
right? I think it's still that same creative team. I think that it's been the whole time.
Let's see, Birds of Prey. 14.
Yeah, no, Kelly Thompson's doing absolute Wonder Woman. I mean, yeah, wow.
Which is bonkers to me that her other book would.
I mean, you got to think.
It looks like they brought Steve Orlando on.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Not yet. Yeah, this is still a Kelly Thompson book, and it's still the same. It might not be the same artist who people were raving about.
That could help explain too.
Yeah. Because
I just
people
hadn't
were
heard about that
really
artist jumping on anything else, which is why I was like assuming. In any case.
Yeah, no, Birds of Prey.
You made me look like a fool for once, Katie.
I'm glad.
I hope you got enjoyment out of it.
I did, and because it's a wild episode, I didn't have to cut you off the way that you sometimes have to cut me off. So I truly got to watch you flounder, which was a treat
You didn't have to actually just start revealing things like I so often do.
Because the news can only be like 20 minutes when you do it, but today it's 45. Thank you all if you've stuck around for this long-ass episode. Truly just a celebration of the Script Heroes podcast.
Yeah, it was a great year of script heroing, and
it surely was.
Hopefully there'll be many more. So
yeah, keep an eye out. We're actually hoping if you've made it this long, you get the tea. We're hoping once the Marvel Rivals game drops to actually do some streams of that. Which will be exciting.
I think that's going to be really fun, because we are like very much people who typically do our talking and discuss like while we play video games, and doing that.
Exactly,
I think while we play Marvel Rivals in our natural habitat will be a lot of fun. I think our goal is to like try to like hunker down in Marvel Rivals, and we don't know what the tiers will be.
We want to get good.
We want to like tier up in the like we're gonna play.
Yeah.
Once we unlock ranked, we are only playing ranked. Like we are getting in this
on that
serious,
grind set.
unless like maybe we'll be those serious people who play like a warm up game out of ranked at the beginning of a session. Like we're gonna try hard.
So yeah, you might have even that's probably not true.
You play this kind of game. I don't.
That's fair, but you're just better at games than I am. I think.
I don't know if that's true. Like I think.
I'll say you have better aim than I do, certainly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm better. I think I'm better at like FPSs. I don't know that I'm better than like ability usage.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like I think I very often forget I have abilities in games, and then like in a game that's all abilities, I don't know what the fuck to do. Because I'm like, why can't I just?
They'll probably have at least one character who's essentially just a COD drop-in.
Yeah, but they're never good in those games. I tried doing that when we played Overwatch, and it didn't work.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, super excited for that to come. If you're still around, check out our bonus episode from last week, which was the Absolute Universe Fantasy Football. Yeah.
Yep. And last week we will have seen you guys, comic geeks.